usually moving in. Yeah, this time I came with friends. Yeah, with my team we aim to win. Yeah, right now the show begins. We gon' bring it to the house for the home team. Big plays, big wins for the whole team. We gon' bring it to the house for the home team. We better ready from head to feet.
Swinging to the right center field. It's time to go. It's time to go right now. Get ready.
The Steel City, the city of champions, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, home to the Pirates and all of the history, some legendary players that have played between the rivers here, and they will be hosting the Cardinals tonight. Welcome to Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus, presented by Q Health. Melanie Newman joined by Chris Young, Hannah Kaiser. We'll see Brooke Fletcher momentarily as well, but the Cardinals a little roughed up by the Mets in the middle of a week on the road. They're taking on the Pirates, who have won 3 of their last 5, including a game where they did not get a hit. They also had a big day off yesterday, but this is going to be a battle of the hot corner night. And Hannah, Nolan Arenado, we knew he was probably going to continue being Arenado, but this year has been something special.
Exactly. So last year was his first year in St. Louis, and it was an all-star caliber season, but that was not enough for Arenado, who spent the offseason working on his hip mobility, getting custom fitted for a bat, speeding up his swing, and while you're seeing the results, now he's back to being one of the best offensive players in the game, but he was always one of the best defensive players in the game. 9 straight Gold Gloves at third base. That's every year that he has played baseball. There hasn't been another Gold Glove winner at third in the National League since Chase Headley in 2012.
Well, there's a contender for that Gold Glove at third this year. His name is Ke'Bryan Hayes, and he is part of a budding group of Pittsburgh prospects.
If there's anybody in the game right now that could take that Gold Glove away from Arenado, I honestly think it's Ke'Bryan Hayes. And it's not just the eye test that he passes. The numbers support how I feel about him defensively. You see him second right here on defensive run saved. He has a great arm, has great range, can go deep in the 6 hole and make a big play if he needs to. You can see him going from foul territory right there, making a big play. He shows off his ability defensively on what he can do on the field. And offensively, he's no slouch as well. He hits the ball the second hardest in the league as far as highest average exit velocity, as you can see here. No, he doesn't have any homers this year, but he has 10 doubles. He's hitting the ball hard, and that power will come.
Well, and we got to talk to some of the Pirates staff about that, and they said, look, take a look at these numbers because he's still able to produce. And when you look at what he's doing compared to Nolan Arenado, who has certainly been around the game a little longer than Ke'Bryan Hayes, it's hard to beat. Plenty more action as we continue Friday Night Baseball. Pirates hosting the Cardinals. We'll see who comes out with this one when we come back. Things around this one, but again, it was a very rough trip to play the Mets, and they'll be heading into Pittsburgh today to take on a team that's been putting it together. We'll go ahead and take a look at Marmol's starting lineup here for you, presented by MLB The Show 22, featuring Nolan Arenado leading the Redbirds in home runs and RBI with an MLB The Show player rating of 91. Tommy Edman leads things off. He'll be followed by Brendan Donovan and Paul Goldschmidt. Arenado, we just mentioned, the cleanup man. In left field, Juan Yepes. Nolan Gorman, his debut at second base tonight, rounded out with Dylan Carlson, Yadier Molina, and Harrison Bader for the Redbirds. You go ahead and take a look at Zach Thompson as well. A great start his last time out, and a great relief appearance as well before that. May has been kind to him. We'll get things started with Tommy Edman. And we are underway with a strike here at PNC Park. 3 for 13 on the road. Edman switching over to shortstop today, again with the debut of Gorman at second, where Edman has been manning. Thompson homeward, this one into the stands. He'll work ahead. Edman batting .269 on the year. He's had 4 long balls. Edman with a swing, he goes right up that left side gap, and it's a leadoff hit for St. Louis to get things started.
Tommy Edman getting the ball rolling quickly right there. I mean, what a great at-bat by him. Early in the count, typical leadoff hitter Edmund is, and he just takes this fastball right down the middle, which you'll see a lot of fastballs tonight from Thompson. He takes his fastball right down the middle, shoots it the other way, and gets the party going for the Cardinals right here.
And they are stacked tonight, switch hitters and natural lefties to face Thompson. In comes Brendan Donovan. He's reached safely in 10 straight games. The pitch home comes inside.
And Mel, Thompson's one of those guys. I mean, he's riding a good wave right now. You look at his numbers, you're not overly impressed. He had a really rough April, in which he went 0-3, but in May he's come back, hasn't given up any runs, continues to gather his confidence, worked his way back into the rotation, and he's coming out here ready in a good mindset to challenge these Cardinals hitters.
It wasn't until the 6th inning, his last time out, that he allowed a hit. Of course, again, different situation here with St. Louis. Thompson, that last start was against the Reds. Been scuffling at the bottom of the NL Central. And it's hard to believe, too, but this year, I mean, people have been asking, when does Pittsburgh start making that movement forward? They're 3.5 games behind St. Louis, and of course, the Brewers just at the top right now. But you take a look at those splits between April and May, and that's exactly what you want to see. And we've heard from some guys, too, saying May was finally when they felt like they were in that rhythm after a rushed spring. Is this one driven into right field? Jack Sawinski is there. He'll put the designated hitter away for the Cards. Take a look at the defense for Pittsburgh today. Again, everybody backing up. Thompson, you see Gamble, Reynolds, and Sawinski in the outfield there, who just made the out. Hayes, Castro, Van Meter, and Chavis through the infield. Michael Perez, the battery mate this afternoon for Zach Thompson.
We talked about it a little bit before the game. Right there at third base, Ke'Bryan Hayes. I feel like on defense, he is much watch TV. He's one of those guys, you come to the game, and you normally don't come to see a guy play defense, but he and Arenado in the same game on the same field, it's going to be fun to watch.
And we'll check on Edman.
If you like defense, though, this is a good game for you, not just because of Nolan Arenado and Ke'Bryan Hayes and, of course, the rest of the Cardinals infield, but also because St. Louis is a contact-oriented team all around. They have the lowest strikeout rate in baseball, and they are 26th in inducing strikeouts. So they both don't strike out, they put the ball in play a lot, and the opposition puts the ball in play a lot against them. So you're going to see all the defenders get a lot of work out.
Like action.
Yeah.
Love the action.
Yeah, that's what we want in baseball, right? Balls in play.
A lot of attention on Edman early in the game.
This one's foul by inches for Goldschmidt. And I see why you talked about that earlier, though. A 12-game streak for Goldschmidt, hitting .440 in those 12 games. He has just been on an otherworldly streak as of late. And this is a guy, we talk about leadership. He's not the most vocal, but he is demonstrative beyond all means.
He's not the most vocal, like you said, Mel, but he leads by example. He was one of those players that, when playing with him in Arizona, even as a young player, he went about his business a different way. Like, he took the game very seriously. He knows how to have fun. He's having fun out there playing the game. You may not see a whole lot of smiles from Goldie, but he enjoys competing. He enjoys winning. And when he gets into these hot streak that he's on right now, you just don't know how long it could last, because he can hit the ball all over the field. He can hit the ball out of the yard, anywhere, at any time, on any pitch. And with him and Arenado back-to-back, I mean, they're one of the more dangerous 3-4, lineups in the game.
On for now, Thompson ahead of Goldschmidt. See what he's able to go to here. Full arsenal for Thompson. Goldschmidt smacks this one into left field, down for a base hit. Ben Gamble is on. Edman stretching for third. The throw will be back in the middle. Runners on the corners. A hard single for Paul Goldschmidt. He'll extend that streak immediately. And for Edman, again, no surprise. He's got 9 stolen bases on the year. It's the reason he was bugging Thompson a little bit. And he goes first to third.
Goldie not trying to do too much. Hits this ball a little bit off the end of the bat. Edmund does a great job in noticing that it's off the end of the bat, knowing the arm in left field with Gamble, and saying, I'm going to go ahead and go first or third. I can see the play right in front of me, so I need to go after it right now.
That's why Tommy Edman leads Fangraphs in base running runs added. I don't know that I actually could compute that myself, but I can concur that he looks like he's good at running the bases.
Yeah, and it passes the eye test. And that's what I love about the numbers. No, I don't understand every little number and how they rate it or grade it, but when you're watching the game, when you see a player who goes first or third every time, you see a player who can successfully steal bases, who can score on that shallow fly ball, on a sac fly, you understand when you're watching a game that that adds value. And Edmund is one of those guys that stands out as being one of the better players in the game at those skills.
For right now, Thompson trying to prevent any first inning damage. And he's been missing here to Arenado. Arenado in a little bit of an 0 for 4. That's about as big of a gap as you'll see from that Gold Glove third baseman, again batting .297. Thompson is first time facing the Cardinals, so you do get that little bit of an advantage. They can watch tape, but it is different to actually get that firsthand experience of a pitcher.
It is. Tape just isn't the same. You have a lot of guys who like looking at tape, and I was a guy who looks at tape, but it's nothing like being in the box and seeing the movement of the pitches, seeing how effective Thompson is going to use that cutter. I mean, that's his go-to pitch. He has a cutter, he has a sinker, he has a four-seamer, but he really likes to go to that cutter, especially when he gets in trouble, try to get a rollover, try to get that double play ball. But he just needs to get a little closer to the strike zone right here if he wants it to be effective.
Trying to keep 12 straight scoreless innings going here for the Pirates. But Arenado ahead. Beautiful night. Rain all day today in Pittsburgh. It cleared up for the game. You love when you can get just clear weather. It's not just a window. It's wide open.
It's wide open.
No risk for this game.
I love it.
Arenado smacks this one just foul. Edmund taking off. We'll go ahead and take a look at Zach Thompson's arsenal. StatCast powered by Google Cloud.
And Zach Thompson, although he has 5 pitches, 3 of those pitches are fastballs or some variation of the fastball with the cutter, the sinker, and the four-seam, but he does use his changeup and curveball more than 10% of the time, so you have to respect it and understand that he can go to it at any time.
How rare is that to find success? I mean, if you've stayed in the big leagues this long with 3 different fastball variations, I mean, that's a little against the grain, especially when you've seen the changeup and those sweeper balls have kind of been the hot pitches of 22.
Right. I think it's one of those things that you learn you have to do, especially.
This one, a drive out into right center field. Racing on comes Sawinski. Edmund tags. The throw is cut off. And now it's an in-between here. The Pirates can't decide where they want to go. Edmund comes home, and the out is made. So some antics on the base paths here. The Pirates able to get out of it. But the Cardinals post a crazy run to start this one off.
This is to manufacture a run. Right here, Goldsmith was stealing right here. Takes a peek back at Edmund, assume that he's tagging, and is completely okay getting in a rundown right here, baiting the first baseman to cut that ball off, getting the rundown, and allow Tommy Edman to score.
That's just see why your everyday 9-4-3 double play that also happens to have a run come home off of it. But either way, it's a 1-0 lead for Adam Wainwright as he'll take the mound for St. Louis. Gets things started with the left fielder, Ben Gamble. Gamble batting .270. He's 1 for 13 in his career facing Wainwright. Take a look at that, his 8th start of the season.
You see Gamble, I mean, a breath of fresh air for this Pittsburgh lineup. I mean, he leads in games played, runs scored, RBIs. He's tied for second in extra base hits. I mean, he's been around the block a little bit, but he's found a home here in Pittsburgh, and he's taken advantage of his opportunity.
He's been flourishing, especially this year. Wainwright has missed 3 straight to get things started. Largest expected batting average, 4th best in the league. He went from a 230 to 302. It's tied with Jock Peterson if you're trying to get an idea of the power that Gamble brings.
And we give a lot of love to the defense on the other side, but Gamble has gone 265 consecutive games in the outfield without making an error. The 3rd longest active errorless streak among Major League outfielders.
Oh, and he'll take a walk to get things started here. Let's go and take a look at the rest of that Pirates starting lineup presented by MLB The Show 22. Pittsburgh lineup featuring Brian Hayes getting on base at an impressive rate. Still looking for that first home run, but an MLB The Show 22 player rating of 81. You just saw Ben Gamble. We mentioned Hayes, Brian Reynolds, Yoshi Tsutsugo will clean things up. At second base, Josh Van Meter. Michael Chavis is at first. Jack Swinsky bats 7th. Michael Perez, the backstop this evening. And the shortstop, Rodolfo Castro, rounds things out for Pittsburgh. Wainwright facing Hayes has not lost to Pittsburgh since April 3rd, 2016.
You think he knows that? He probably knows that, huh?
He's one of those, I wouldn't call him hyper analytical, but analytical enough to where that might be a memory in the back of his head as Hayes slaps this one back up the middle. Gorman throws over. And it's a double play for the Cardinals. Welcome to the big leagues, kid.
And it probably feels so good for Gorman to go ahead and get that play off his chest. I remember when I made my debut, I was way more nervous on defense than I was for my first at-bat. It's like somebody just hit the ball to me already so I can go out here, make a play, get my feet wet, and he makes a perfect play.
At 4-6-3, Tommy Edman talked about establishing communication with Gorman so that they did not miss a beat. And a tough one for the Pirates as it clears the base paths. And it's 2 quick outs for Brian Reynolds. Reynolds 6 for 27 facing Wainwright, batting .214 on the year. Switch hitter from the left side.
And he's been, you know, for his 4 years in the league, he's been one of my more favorite people to watch play the game. Although he's in a little funk right now, whatever you want to call it. He's a little off balance. You can see right here his swing. His last 7, he's hitting, you know, about $120. But he's one of those guys, when he gets hot, he's hitting the fastball really well. He's able to stay on the fastball. And right now, with talking to Shelton, he's just being a little over-aggressive. Sometimes you're trying to make things happen, trying to force the issue, as opposed to just taking what the pitcher can give to you. So today, when I'm watching him play, I'm saying, can he stay calm in the box? Can he take the pitches that Wainwright gives to him? Because Wainwright, being a veteran guy, he's not going to give you a whole lot. He's going to stay on those corners. He's going to, you know, try to make you bite. He's going to throw his little fishing line out there and see if you're going to try to take a bite. And if Reynolds can stay within himself, he'll have success today.
And that OPS is down 250 points for Reynolds. But you kind of get the feeling, see why. He'll be okay. He's got the power stash.
He does have the power stash. And especially for hitting from the left side of the plate, he has a power swing from the left side. He has more power from the left side, hits for a higher average from the right side. And it has to be tough. I mean, when you're a switch hitter, you're struggling a little bit and you're trying to fix 2 swings at the same time. It was hard enough for me to keep 1 swing going right.
Wainwright 2-2. This one laced into right field, down for a base hit. 2-out shot for Brian Reynolds, and they'll keep it going here. We'll go ahead and take a look at StatCast, powered by Google Cloud, what Adam Wainwright is bringing to the plate.
And Wainwright, you don't know what you're going to get. He can throw anything in any situation. He really relies on that sinker, curveball, cutter. Then he has a changeup and a 4-seam fastball that he uses rarely, but he's always been known for that curveball. We're going to see it plenty today, but he's matching that up with his sinker, staying on the corners to try to be as effective as possible.
I asked him earlier this week about curveball thrown in a little bit less this season, but you know, it's early, and so I said, is that a small sample size thing? Are you doing that on purpose? And I don't even remember what he said, because at the end he said, I would never tell you the whole truth. People might be listening.
Well, you take a look at this curveball here, Hannah, you just mentioned.
Yeah, when you keep it up in the zone, it can get hit. I mean, what I love about Reynolds right there, he took a deep breath right before the pitch was thrown. got a pitch that he can handle, didn't try to overswing, just took his single and took his base hit.
He'll be facing Yoshi Tsutsugo, the designated hitter this evening for the Pirates. He goes back and forth with Dan Vogelback. And a guy who is really starting to settle in. Had a little bit of a rough transition coming over stateside. He started things off with Tampa Bay, but we got a chance to talk with the staff about this earlier, and they said, no, you can tell he's hitting his stride, and that he's also found a home in this clubhouse, which is so important for international players.
And that has to matter when you're coming from Japan. Yes, he had over 200 homers in his 10 seasons out there. But when you're coming to a different country, trying to make friends, there's a language barrier. All the things that you have to deal with when trying to make an adjustment to a new league, it puts a lot of pressure on you. And sometimes you tighten up a little bit. But hopefully him being in an environment to where he's comfortable with all of his teammates, he'll be able to find that stroke that he had in Japan, because it's the same swing. It's the same game. Yes, they may throw more breaking balls in Japan or whatever it may be, but a good hitter, in my opinion, is a good hitter. And he just has to get that confidence up and find that stroke. And you see here, I mean, it's a huge disparity in the numbers, and that just doesn't match up to me. Yes, if he can't hit the fastball, or if the velo is too high, or if you can't hit something over 98 miles an hour, that makes sense. But I think he's a better hitter than that, and I think he's going to find his way.
Well, that also means that you have that adjustment period. Just because you can't hit it now doesn't mean you can't hit it forever.
Right, right. You see a lot of guys have to make adjustments, from American players going to Japan and play and vice versa. Sometimes, hey, you may need to get that foot down a little bit earlier if it's a little more velo, but the game is made to force you to make the necessary adjustments, or you're going to continue to learn your lesson and take your medicine over and over again.
Well, I'd love for him to move the Pirates ahead here, as he is battling with Wainwright right now. We'll see pitch number 7 in a moment. He is 1 for 5. And for Wainwright, his battery mate, Yadier Molina, that is an always. You see a few pitchers every now and then, they do have their preferred catcher, and they are the highlight of it. The winningest battery combo after their last outing together. And of course, the trivia question that Wainwright might hate the least is who closed out that game for them, and it was Albert Pujols.
That was great to see, though. That was great for baseball. And Pujols asked to be in the game right there. He wanted to pitch. When Oliver Marmol was looking, you know, they were in a blowout game. Didn't want to go to your bullpen. Who wants to pitch? Albert wants to pitch.
Are you raising your hand in that situation?
You know what? I thought about that, and I had that opportunity a few times, and I don't know if I would be able to throw enough strikes. Well, Pujols showed that all you got to do is lob it in there. You may give up a homer or two.
Wainwright was very critical of that. He wants to see some velocity difference between what Pujols brings to the table, and he said all it was lob balls. I wanted a curveball and a fastball, and he couldn't even give me that.
Wainwright said earlier this week, you know, I talked to Albert about that. Couldn't let us have one day. Always stealing everybody's thunder. And I asked Wainwright, you and Yachty, did you see the 203 coming? Is that something that's on your radar? You were saying earlier, you know, does he know his stats? Does he know his records? And he said, oh, we knew it was coming, but we forgot. He said trainer Chris Conroy came up to them and goes, 203 wins. And they said, wow. Really, this one?
That's amazing.
And to also imply, therefore, that that's the magic number. They'll appeal. No swing for Tsutsugo. So the Pirates, patience after a double play, a single and a walk.
And sometimes you just have to give props to the hitter. I think Wainwright executed the pitch. He wanted to go cutter in on him, try to get Tsutsugo to swing over it. Tsutsugo staying patient, taking his walk, and that ball's in.
So roll right along with second baseman Josh Van Meter, the lefty, batting 169. And again, 1 for 6, which it's a small sample size, and you think, okay, well, it's not very successful, but you are facing somebody as elite as Wainwright, so you take that one.
Right, I agree. And going into a game facing Wainwright, I mean, he's not, I wouldn't say he's a very uncomfortable at bat. I feel like you see, when you're in the box, you see everything he's throwing. It's just a matter of deciding early, is this pitch going to stay on the corner or is it going to run off? I ran into the same thing when facing pitchers like Greg Maddux or Tom Glavine. I mean, these guys that knew how to use deception, they could look at your swing and see what pitch to throw off of that, and every pitch has a plan or a reason that he throws that pitch.
2 men aboard. And this is going to draw Wainwright off here. And to your point, CY, third lowest whiff rate in the league for Wainwright. He only gets 15.4% of what he brings in, but he does have 103 strikeouts looking. That's in the top since 2020. And most of those have come off of his sinker, but it's riding the rails of that strike zone.
Yeah, you can just never give up on it. And it's always you're waiting to the last second to decide, is this something I'm going to attack or no?
Go to the breaking ball there for a strike.
Early in count curveballs. I mean, you would literally, a breaking ball that slow, you almost need to sit on it to be ready for it, because if you're geared up for a fastball, even if the fastball is only 88 to 90 miles an hour, if he flips that curveball, it's tough for some hitters to be able to make that adjustment and be that aggressive in an 0-0 count.
Taking his time here, gets the call a little outside there to Van Meter to go ahead and work ahead. And for the second baseman for the Pirates, this is already his third team. He was DFA'd by the Diamondbacks, traded to the Pirates on April 1st. And that's the power of Wainwright Molina.
Yeah.
You get those ball off calls.
He can do that all day too. So now he may expand even a little bit more. See if he can get him a chase.
Ankle biter there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the odds presented by BetMGM. Wainwright, strikeouts 4.5. You taking the over or the under on that one?
I mean, oh, that's tough. I mean, the Pirates don't strike out that much, so it all depends on what he does right here. But I'm gonna go with the under.
That RBI probability, the bottom right-hand corner for Van Meter, 14%. It's odds courtesy again, BetMGM. And definitely you can tell, not the crispest stuff that Wainwright is bringing to the plate here in the first inning.
Right, he's still searching right now. He's still trying to find his way, trying to find his release point on that curveball. But once he finds it, he'll find it. I mean, he's been here before. He's come out the gate slow before, but he's one of those pitchers. He's looking for a feel. And once he finds that feel, he'll be able to continue to execute his pitches.
Van Meter smokes this one, but it stays on the infield. Gorman over to first, and they'll scoop Wainwright out of this one. Cardinals staying on top on Friday Night Baseball.
Our fans, we appreciate you.
I'm Brooke Fletcher. Juan Yepez has only been in the bigs for what, a couple weeks, but he has rightfully earned his spot in the starting lineup, batting .333 and reaching base safely in 12 of his first 14 games. What's really impressed manager Ollie Marmol is just his maturity at the plate, his ability to make adjustments, put up competitive at bats. But it also helps when your mentor is one of the best hitters in the game, and that's Albert Pujols. Marmol jokingly said, "What's the closest thing to a shadow?" Because that's exactly what Juan Yepez is to Pujols. He said you're going to see him after every single at-bat. He's going to go back to the dugout. He's immediately going to grab his iPad, sit down right next to Pujols, and just go over his at-bat with him, soak up every bit of information that he can. And he said he's just really learning a lot from him and really appreciating Pujols taking the time to teach him. But guys, you know, Pujols loves being a mentor to these young guys.
Yeah, Brooke, and you can also look at, too, that's part of the attribution for why they've had so many key players who have really chosen to spend most of their career in St. Louis. And for Yepez, he might have not been the name that jumped out in the lineup, but he was a guy. Not the guy, according to Marmol. I know you got to talk about this with him earlier, but he was still the number 6 prospect for the Cardinals when he ultimately got that call. And you can't pick a better mentor, as you mentioned, than somebody like Pujols. It's the same thing for Andrew Kisner and Yadier Molina. They have been very gracious little sponges about who they're following behind here in that clubhouse.
And that says a lot about both the veteran guys and the rookies. Because, I mean, if I were a young player and I had the opportunity to be with potentially so many Hall of Famers in the same clubhouse, how could you not be a sponge? But I feel like in today's games, sometimes the young players feel like they have it figured out already. So for Yepez to come and understand, hey, I don't have it all figured out. I have Albert Pujols potentially playing his last season right here next to me. Why not be a sponge and ask him as much as I can while I have him in the same clubhouse with me?
Earlier this week, Pujols was asked about Yepez, and he said, "I'm glad when he's playing defense, gives me a little bit of a break. When he's DHing, he's all over me all game. But no, he said, it kind of takes me back to myself 22 years ago, asking questions and just wanting to get better. And one of the other things that he said that I thought was interesting was, he said the advice he gave Yepez was, don't get too comfortable. Always want to be working harder and learning and trying more.
Let's see what he can do here against Thompson. A little squib, and that one will take a shot off of him.
Oh, while he shakes this off, I mean, one of the things that I also love about Yepez, like, when you're a minor league guy, you're trying to find your way. I mean, the Cardinals have a very good team right now, and you're a player, and you're trying to find your way into the lineup, trying to find your way into the big leagues. The only way to do that is to be versatile. And this year with the Cardinals, he's played first, he's played left, right, DH. Whatever it takes for me to get on the field in the big leagues, I will do it, because everybody knows about his bat. I mean, he hit 27 home runs last year in the minor leagues as he hits this ball off of his back knee. You don't see that too often. It shows a lot of the movement that Thompson has, but that ball off the back knee chasing you, you get jammed a little bit. It just does not feel good off that kneecap.
And for you, that's the leg that you're kind of pushing off of, so that muscle is already stressed when it gets hit, which is kind of the worst time. You want to be hit if you're relaxed, if anything.
Yeah. And you can't put a pad. You can't, if you go up there with a back knee pad, something is really wrong.
We've seen a lot of armor, but that might be a first.
So he needs to yell out to the mound, hey, no more sinkers in, please. Give me something nice out over the plate.
Well, he's forced 6 pitches. This will be the 7th that he's seen from Thompson to lead off the second inning. That infield to the left against him. Scoops that one straight up. Now, Yepez had a pretty good day yesterday. We mentioned the Cardinals not with a day off against the Mets. Solo home run, second inning off of Chris Bassett. Narrowed that lead by a run for the Mets. 414 feet for his 3rd of the year.
Oh, that's beautiful right there. That's the way to come into the league right there, right out the gate.
He sends this one out to left field, backs up Ben Gamel at the track, leaps in front of the wall. He'll eat it, but gets the out. And Gamel stays relatively untouched, and now it is time. Welcome to the big leagues, Nolan Gorman. Proud family looking on of their second baseman, who was absolutely destroying AAA with the Memphis Redbirds. He gets to come up with one of his best friends since he was 5 years old, and Matthew Liberatore. He'll make his start tomorrow night.
And this is the one at bat that he will remember for a lifetime. No matter what happens right here, you remember.
Gorman, who came up as a third baseman before he moved over to second. They said, you know, they've got enough guys at third, so they don't see that move reversing itself at any point.
And we're talking with him before the game. He understands that, you know what, I may not feel my legs today. I may not hear any walkout music. I mean, they wouldn't play it on the road anyway, but he's not hearing anything. He's completely locked in, just trying to take in this moment, find his way, and right here, just put the bat on the ball.
29th overall prospect, 2018 19th overall pick, futures game in 2019 and 2021. And again, a 308, 15 home runs, is amongst the best for AAA players this year.
And let me tell you, the family in the stands are more nervous than he is at the plate.
He sends this one out to right field, and a major league hit, his first at bat. Nolan Gorman, a single gets things started. They're going to keep that ball forever, send it back to the authenticators.
Oh, congratulations, young man. Your first of many in the big leagues, and you had your entire family, most of your family here to watch this moment and share it with you. That has to feel good. And you see his teammates are all top step, helping him enjoy this moment right here. And you got to get that first ball right there, get it to the authenticator. Back in the days, we used to act like we threw that ball into the stands, but we'd always put it in our back pocket. It's a little fun game, but he's hyping, and what a great moment for his family. You see crying and everything going on. That's beautiful.
He did say, he said, Mom will be the biggest mess out of everybody. But we've heard that from a lot of players over the years. I love Dylan Carlson here as he takes a first pitch strike. They're a little choked up. How can you not be? And it was CeCe Sabathia, actually. He said, oh, Mom, every time. She didn't breathe, she didn't snack, she didn't do anything until I was out of the ballgame. But this is what you dream of if you're the Gorman family and the friends. His grandfather getting all emotional.
Oh, that's a beautiful moment. Because one thing about the family, they're the ones that see all the hard work that you went through. They see the grind. They know that this was your dream since you were 3 years old or whatever it may be. And he takes a little breaking ball over the middle of the plate. And just like that, you have your first hit of hopefully only 2,999 more to go.
They had a 5:30 in the morning flight out of Phoenix, Arizona to be here tonight. Oh, there we go. You got to get the ball, and Thompson knew it immediately. He scooped it, and he was the one to ultimately send it back to the dugout. But he said, Mom, Dad, sister, girlfriend, grandparents. They got a whole crew in town. That Phoenix airport has been busy shipping off both he and Liberatore's families to be here for the next couple of days in Pittsburgh. Carlson with an 0-2 and catches a foul tip here. So first strikeout of the evening for Zach Thompson. And then comes Yadier Molina. A little pat on the back there for Perez as he says hello. There's Gorman. Molina 1 for 9 on this road trip, 238 on the season, and another guy who has said it will be his last, which makes you wonder, does Wainwright stay when he loses his battery mate? And that is about as much of a secret as Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
You know, I think Wainwright's at the point like, hey, I understand this is my boy. Yadi's my boy, and just because he's leaving, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm leaving. I'm still enjoying the game. I still feel like I'm competing at a high level. And, hey, you know what? When you hang the spikes up, they're hung up forever. So, hey, play as long as you can. Enjoy it as long as you're having fun and being productive. Stay as long as you can, I say.
Asked Ollie Marmol, his manager, I said, just guess. I know you don't know, but what is going to be the deciding factor for Wainwright as to whether or not he wants to play again? And he cautioned, he said, I don't know for sure, but he said, as long as he can still get outs, and as long as he still has something to contribute to the rest of the team. That's something Marmol has talked about a bunch this week, is sort of how much Wainwright gives back to those younger guys. That's such a feature of the Cardinals right now. We're seeing someone make their debut. We're seeing some Hall of Famers.
Molina skies this one. 3 Pirates head out on it, and it's going to be a souvenir for the fans instead. And to your point there, Hannah, I mean, Wainwright, his whole family, they've been very deeply involved in the community. He got to bang the drum. We've got NHL playoffs right now. He was out for Game 6 for the Blues. He's loving it. And for Molina, it's no different either. One home, and that is such a rare feat these days, especially when you consider the length of both of their careers and the fact that the average big leaguer is still less than 4 years.
I mean, 19 seasons with one team is just unbelievable, and it says so much about Yadi as a player and what he's been able to do with multiple pitching staffs and be one of the better hitters in the game and always be known as that guy that you can't just run on. Even with 19 seasons in, there's nobody on first base thinking, hey, just run on him. You got him. No, he still has that reputation, and he still backs it up.
Wainwright was asked if they've ever gotten in a fight during their career together, and he said, I have a rule. You don't fight anybody with cauliflower ear or neck tattoos. So no. Molina on the ground. Back to Castro, throws to second, and they'll wrap this one up 6-4. Cardinals staying on top, though. We'll see what those Pirates bats can do when we come back on Apple TV+. Apple TV Plus is presented by Q Health, the most accurate COVID-19 self-test trusted by Major League Baseball and sponsored in part by Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. And by Mattress Firm, upgrade and save up to $400 on top-rated brands. Welcome back in, everybody. Melanie Newman, Chris Young, Hannah Kaiser, Brooke Fletcher from PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Adam Wainwright to Michael Chavis. First pitch swinging. He drops this into no man's land, and it's a leadoff single for Chavis to start the second.
That's a great job by Chavis right there. He understands that in the first inning, Wainwright was still trying to get his field, trying to find the strike zone. So to start this inning, you understand that Wainwright is going to come right at you, try to get something over the plate, try to get it ahead in the count early, and he takes advantage of that and is aggressive on the fastball. Way pulls it to left center field.
You talk about how Wainwright was sort of nibbling a little, maybe too much in that first inning. Hit 26 pitches in that first inning, which could come into play. Ali Marmol was saying a lot of that bullpen a little tired after that Mets series.
And they were hoping for a day off. They did not get it. Now, we saw an emotional moment for Nolan Gorman making his debut. Jack Sawinski, though, up in Chicago. He grew up there. Had a home run Wednesday night at Wrigley Field. It brought his dad to tears. I mean, CY, how special is that to go home and have that moment?
I mean, when you're a player, no matter what team you play for, if you're a guy that's able to go to whatever that team is that's close to your home, whatever team you were a fan of as a child. For me, I mean, it was the Houston Astros. I grew up in Houston. When I would go back to Minute Maid Park and play there with 60 family members, I mean, I was paying a lot of money for tickets, by the way. We're not going to talk about that right now, though. But when you had the opportunity to go home.
This one driven out to left center field, moving in Harrison Bader.
When you had an opportunity to go home and play in front of your family, it just hits different. Yes, he already had a home run, but when you're able to do it at home, at Wrigley for him, in front of his family, he had to be absolutely floating on air. I mean, you see his dad crying, his family there, everybody, and it was a big home run. I mean, this is the 5th inning. It's 2-2 game, and this is a go-ahead home run. You end up winning the game 3-2. This is a big moment for him and his family, and something that he'll never forget.
Well, and it was the decisive home run in that game, 410 feet off of Drew Smiley, and his dad, Tim, loving it. So runner aboard for Pittsburgh. What has been close here through these first two. And again, Wainwright still trying to sharpen things up. Looking in at Michael Perez, the lefty 0 for 10 facing Wainwright, batting 167 on the year. Catching duties kind of split right now between Perez and Heineman.
Don't forget Josh Van Meter splitting the catching duty every now and then.
A little bit of everything.
And what you're going to see with Roberto Perez out for the season with the hammy injury, you're going to see these guys get a fair opportunity, a fair shake to see what they're made of. And yes, they'll be splitting time, but it may go to who can get hot earliest, who can show that we can put competitive at-bats together over and over again, because that's going to be the guy to earn the job.
Perez in the middle of his 5th major league season. He spent time with Arizona and Tampa Bay, among others. So he's seen a little bit of everything when it comes to how teams approach the game. Of course, Tampa Bay, the super analytical kings maybe of all of Major League Baseball, but it used to be the Pirates at the front of that helm, and so not too much different for Perez to find a home here.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of teams who are trying to.
Perez, a drive out towards left, fair or foul, caught by Juan Yepez. Meanwhile, Wainwright picks up his second out in the sky tonight. Brooke, you've got more, though, on Adam and Yadi.
Yeah, guys, it's rare to see players stick with a single team for an entire career, but that's exactly what Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina have done here for the Cardinals. Teammates for 18 seasons, and last weekend they made history by becoming the winningest starting battery in league history with their 203rd team victory, passing Warren Spahn and Del Crandall for the all-time record. But after the win, Wainwright was asked about that moment. He said, "That was amazing, but we totally forgot about it." Ollie actually came up the stairs, told them what they did, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that's kind of cool." Then they went into the clubhouse and celebrated, where they were drenched with cherry Coke and almond milk. Now, I had to ask Ollie about this. I said, "Cherry Coke and almond milk? What's the deal there?" And he said, "Well, normally it's a beer shower, but we can't have beer at home, so that was the next best thing."
That's what they had on hand in the refrigerator, and I guess, if anything, there are worse baths to take, but they always go in the laundry cart, Brooke, and I love that. Is anytime they celebrate those individual accomplishments, laundry cart in the middle of the showers, and it's whatever you got on hand, apparently.
Oh, I've seen everything in those. We call them beer showers, but after the game, if somebody has an amazing accomplishment or something, You come in, you take off what you can. Normally, you're not taking off everything, but you take off what you can as fast as possible because you don't want to.
Is almond milk hard to get out of a uniform?
I don't know. You would have to ask the clubbies that. But, I mean, we did baby powder, syrup, like cold water, ice buckets. Whatever you can get your hands on, be ready. It's coming.
Syrup, that's very, that doesn't
Sticky.
shower very easily.
It doesn't. Syrup and baby powder is.
A slow drench.
Is it disgusting if I think that cherry Coke and almond milk doesn't sound that bad? Like a little cream, a little almond, a little cherry?
I'll take it.
Cream cherry cola. Ground ball back up here to Gorman. Takes a beat. Makes the out. And another tidy inning for the Cardinals. They stay on top of the Pirates by a run. Plus, presented by Q Health. Melanie Newman alongside Chris Young, Hannah Kaiser, and Brooke Fletcher live from PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We collect NFTs of your favorite MLB players and the top plays from every night of the baseball season. Go to candy.com/MLB to grab icon NFT packs and play of the day now. A 1-0 lead for the Cardinals. Zach Thompson back out. He'll get 9, 1, and 2 to start the third, with Harrison Bader, center fielder for the Cards. 4 for 9 his last 2 games, 240 on the year. He had an in-the-park home run this last week, if you were wondering what kind of wheels this kid has.
And they got some boys that can run over there. With him and Edman and O'Neal when he's healthy.
And yet that was the first inside the park home run for the Cardinals since October 2nd, 2001.
Those always look so exhausting to me. They're amazing.
Not for you?
Oh, my goodness.
Not about it?
Bring the oxygen tank, please.
We'll get one carted up here for you, CY. Bader with a sky ball over the infield. Thompson calls off his defense. He's going to make the out himself. And for Zach Thompson, getting all laughs there from Michael Perez. Against the grain, you usually defer to the other guys to make that out, but he's got it himself. And a kid, his first minor league squad was the black and gold.
And I think pitchers right here, you feel disrespected when somebody comes in and tries to take that play from you. Like, hey, I'm an athlete as well. I'm a big leaguer. I'm a pitcher, but I'm a big leaguer as well. I can make that play. And it's always a lot of fun seeing pitchers going out and making that play, especially calling off Brian Hayes.
Probably have a word about that when they head back into the dugout. Back up to the top with Tommy Edman here. For Thompson, the Fort Worth native. And life just kept coming back Pirates for him. A little kid. And you see that all the time. Little leagues usually just borrow the big league squads. You've got, you know, the Pirates, the Reds, the Cardinals, everybody. But for him, that was the first uniform he ever put on. Then he declined the Pittsburgh, drafting him in, that sounds mythical at this point, the 48th round of the 2011 draft. Went to UT Arlington instead. And then in 2014, the White Sox drafted him. He went from the 48th to the 5th round. It's a pretty decent improvement in your stock. Goes to Miami and then ends up in a Pirates uniform. And he said life is serendipitous like that sometimes. It's just funny the way things work out.
It is. And when you're a guy that's just drafted in the 48th round, you know that means there's still some things to work on. And a lot of times going to college, especially if you're a low draft pick, going to college is a lot of times the better opportunity for you, because if you sign in a 48th round, you're going to go to rookie ball a couple times. Yes, you're going to develop and be with a pro team, but you're not going to have that much invested in you. And being able to go to college and work on your craft there, come back out into the draft and get drafted higher to where you have more stock in you, I think it plays out well for a lot of young players. And with the guy who played for, you know, in Little League, he played for the Pirates, and we saw a picture earlier today. You know, you had that Pirates uniform on when you was 5 years old, and now you look back at it and you're wearing it again. It's like you manifested all of this and brought this upon yourself, and you had no idea when you were 5 years old that you would be a big leaguer. That's everybody's dream. Every kid dreams that you're going to be a big leaguer, and you wear these teams and, oh, I play for the Astros and I play for the Pirates or whatever it may be. But for it to come to fruition like that, I think is amazing.
Did you have any Little League teams you were on that were eventually one of your stars?
No, my Little League team was the Gulls. And I had to look up what a gull was when I was 5 years old.
Like a seagull?
I guess so. I guess that's the only type of, are there other types of gulls out there?
A bagel?
We were purple and white team. And we were the Gulls.
We gotta work on your manifestations.
Hey, I mean, wasn't my call. I just wore the jersey with the little iron-on number and name. Put a little patch on your shoulder and call it a day.
2-2 on the way, a drive out to left field. This is going to back up Gamble again at the track, and he's got it. And again, Gamble has just been flawless for the Pirates.
I mean, and that's really a good piece of hitting by Edman. No, it didn't work out, and Gamble's able to get back there to the warning track and make that play. But that is a great piece of hitting, driving the ball the other way. It doesn't always work out, but if you continue to hit the barrel like that, you're going to be completely fine in the end.
And Hannah mentioned that earlier with that defense. He has not made an error since April 28th, 2019. He's 61 games behind Andrew McCutchen for the lead, which even that seems ridiculous.
And right here, that's two very quality at-bats where he's staying through the middle of the field. He takes his high heater and drives it the other way. That's not slapping the ball the other way like a small leadoff hitter. That is driving the ball the other way. If you hit that ball in Boston or hit that ball in Houston, you're talking about a double off the wall. And it's just a big yard here in Pittsburgh. The air's a little heavy right now. You got 380 to the wall. So, I mean, he hit that ball probably 360, 365 feet the other way, and he's not a big dude. But that's a good piece of hitting.
Working ahead to Brendan Donovan, a 1-2 count here for Thompson. He flied out in the first.
Mel, you were saying earlier how the Cardinals had a little bit of a rough trip to New York. Not so for Brendan Donovan. He got engaged when there was a rainout. Proposed to his girlfriend, Allie, in Times Square.
Wow.
Did she say yes?
I believe she did, yes.
Good.
I would think that would not be brought up otherwise.
That would suck.
Oh, there we go. He and Allie. Bet she was happy for the rainouts. She might like all rainouts moving here forward. They just bring up the good memories.
It all kind of worked out for him right there. You got the ring in your backpack and your travel suitcase, and you're like, man, when am I going to do this? And then Mother Nature just looks out for you and lines it all up
Gives you
for
the
you.
whole day.
The whole day. And it wasn't raining in that
Otherwise,
picture.
he takes the field. He's shaking while he's trying to play defense, swinging at everything, just trying to think about it. Just a piece of this one here. And I mean, you've lived in New York for quite a bit. How often do you think those engagements happen in Times Square?
I have no idea. I try to avoid it. I don't know when the last time I was in Times Square was.
I feel like it definitely has to be over the amount of ballpark engagements.
When you're a New Yorker, you don't go to Times Square.
Yeah.
Like you just don't go to Midtown. You don't go in that area for some reason because you know better.
Well, he loses out here. Not so lucky for Brendan Donovan. It's a second strikeout for Zach Thompson. Clean third inning for the righty. Presented by Q Health. Melanie Newman alongside Chris Young, Hannah Kaiser, and Brooke Fletcher live from PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Opening up a 3-game series, Pirates hosting the Cardinals, and we are now joined with one of the Cardinals pitchers, Miles Michaelis. And first of all, yeah, I think we're going to have to reroute and just open up with this because we just talked about it a moment ago. 80-grade stash. You got some in the team, though. Guys like Gorman coming up for the debut with one.
Yeah.
I mean, take us through this movement for the Cardinals.
Looking for a little bit of pop, a little bit of juice. Guy's got 15 pumps in the minor leagues, so let's see him hit one into the river here this weekend.
I think she meant the mustache movement.
We did.
The mustache movement.
Tell
Okay.
us about,
But also that.
the trend towards mustaches on the
Yeah.
team.
I'd like to see more of it. You tell me it's an 80-grade mustache. I think a little tear drip down from my eye there. I think it's a good baseball look. It's an in-season treat for me. I'm usually clean-shaven in the off-season, but I think mustache plays on the field, adds a little bit of feel to some of my pitches. Keeps the lips warm when it gets chilly here early in the season, and just got to ride it out.
So, Miles, do you have to grow the full beard first to get a stash like that, or do you continue to shave your face and just allow the mustache to grow in the beginning?
I usually grow the full beard out at some point in the off season, and then I just drop everything else and just kind of let the mustache be there. The mustache growing out phase can be a little awkward, and it starts out like a little thin, and you can fall out of love with it pretty quick. So I just do the whole beard, and then we just drop it and go mustache. Well, nice punch out right there for Waino.
That's great. Speaking of Waino, I mean, we don't know how many years he has left pitching, but What is it about this Cardinals pitching culture that it seems that it helps so many young pitchers? What is it that y'all do that you feel like other teams aren't doing to really understanding the most effective way to pitch and go about attacking hitters?
I think, you know, the Cardinals, we've got, you know, a lot of young guys with tremendous stuff, but they don't stress the grip it and rip it, you know, let your stuff do. They focus on, you know, the mental aspects of pitching and what to do with your pitches and having a little touch and feel, moving the ball around, throwing lots of strikes, being in control of the game and being in control of your stuff. I think it's something they do really well. What I've seen from when I've been here is they let guys season themselves in the upper minor leagues, let them really learn a lot about their pitches and how to control them, as opposed to the, hey, you got great stuff, go up there and kind of throw it at the wall and see what sticks. You know, that spray and pray approach to pitching where you just kind of let your stuff do the work. The Cardinals, our guys have incredible stuff, but to stress the mental side and the control side, I think is big.
Miles, you've had such a wide journey in your path to where you are right now. Going to Nova Southeastern, guys like J.D. Martinez, Mike Fiers. You've rediscovered yourself really in Japan. I mean, what has all of this been like for you?
It's been tons of fun. I mean, anytime you can keep playing baseball, whether it's here or overseas, and kind of, you know, pull the ripcord and just let that journey take you wherever it's going to go. You know, baseball can take you to amazing places, you know, not just here in the United States, but all over the country. Guys playing winter ball in Puerto Rico and Dominican and Venezuela, and the movement of guys going to Japan and Korea coming back. I mean, baseball's enjoyed as a sport all over the world, and to really embrace that is part of the fun.
What did you figure out when you were over in Japan playing in the NPB that worked so well coming back?
I think just learning about my stuff as a starter, how I like to use it, refining the command of all my pitches, really refining my delivery to make it more repeatable as a starter so I can move the ball around the zone a little bit better. And I think another part of it is just being out of your comfort zone, learning to adapt. In a sense that, you know, when you leave the United States and you go to a place like Japan, it's not necessarily the end of the road, but in a sense your back's against the wall. You know, if you know, I had struggled here with Texas, and, you know, if you struggle overseas, it kind of leads with like, well, you struggled here, you struggled there. You know, how long are our teams going to give you chances if you're struggling? So to have that thought, like, hey, my back's against the wall, I better get really good really quick, or I might not be playing so much anymore, kind of dawns on you. So, you know, you got to put up.
Well, Miles, you've certainly been putting up some great numbers. The Cardinals, I know, are thrilled to have you. Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. Thank you guys for having me on.
All right, another quick inning for Adam Wainwright. Cardinals on top. Authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Nice day to cruise down the river. You might find a souvenir or two if you're lucky. Paul Goldschmidt taking on Zach Thompson. Goldschmidt, a single in the first inning, extends his hitting streak to 13 games.
I mean, when Goldie gets hot, he gets extremely hot, and I feel like a lot of his success comes. A lot of guys in the league can hit the fastball, but Goldie he's top 5 in MLB with base hits versus breaking balls. And when I say breaking balls, I'm talking about curveballs and sliders. I mean, he's hitting over 400 on breaking balls this season. And when you see those type of numbers for players, as a pitcher, it kind of puts your back into the wall, because you don't want to just continue to throw a guy fastballs. But if you know you can't flip in that breaking ball, a hitter becomes very dangerous. And Goldie being able to hit the ball all over the field, it really limits the holes that he has in his swing.
It's his longest streak since 2018.
And anytime you start talking about on-base streaks for players, we were talking about it before the game. He's on a 26-game, now 27-game on-base streak. You always feel like you're going to jinx it. And then he went out first at bat, say, no, we're not gonna worry about that. I'm gonna get a base hit first at bat, and y'all can continue to talk about it.
There we go, Thompson working that lower end of the zone here against Goldschmidt. So would you agree with that? Because we've heard a couple players who shared the sentiment of when you're in a rut, you feel like it's never going to end. And when you're in a streak, you feel like it's going to end any minute.
I don't know if they go together, because when you're in a streak, I think the game teaches you time and time again that you better stay humble. Because as soon as you think you have it figured out, it's, you know, baseball and golf are those two sports, in my opinion, where as soon as you think you figure it out, it comes back and punches you in the nose, you know. And I think when you're on a hot streak, you just try to continue to remember, what did I do yesterday? What am I doing today? What am I working on? What am I thinking about? And you just try to ride that wave and stay in the same place as long as you can.
For Nolan Arenado, trying to get out of a little 0 for 5, flied into a double play to end the first. Although Tommy Edman came home to score. It's one of those you see something new every game situations. Arenado coming out first pitch swinging here.
We talked about Arenado in our little pregame segment because he's doing after a little bit of a slow cold streak right now, but is it having an incredible second season in St. Louis? He was perfectly respectable in his first season. He was an all-star. He had a 119 OPS plus, but still it wasn't enough. He spent the whole offseason going around to different experts, different laboratories. It's new rage in baseball, all these super specialized trainers. He worked on his hip mobility, got custom fitted for a bat with that counterweight knob, and added some bat speed to his swing. Now he has the highest slugging percentage against fastballs.
All right, he had a good year last year, but on his terms, he felt like he had a down year. So what do players do? That's what makes guys like Arenado and some of the better players in the game so great, is that they're never satisfied. They never just have a good season where they hit 270 with 25 home runs, which most players would take all the time. They say, no, I need to go out and make adjustments and continue to get better.
Arenado slaps this one back to Hayes. He'll look at the runner, chooses to go for Arenado instead. Cards advance their runner. Juan Yepes stands in. Again, he fouled off. He saw a lot of pitches against Thompson to start the second inning. Fouled one right off his back knee before he ultimately flied out to left. Now, curious, CY, what does it mean? Hannah just said he got a custom-fitted bat. Is that how big is your grip? What's the weight of the bat? I mean, what are we doing here?
He changed his bat model pretty much. So last year he was.
First pitch swinging again. Yepes out to left center, and it's been Gamble.
Last year he used a pretty standard bat, and when I say standard bat, like a normal bat knob. But Goldschmidt is known to use this big hockey puck-like handle on the bottom of his bat, and it acts as a counterbalance to make the bat feel lighter, to where essentially you can use a heavier bat, you can use a longer bat, you can use a heavier bat because it feels lighter in your hand. And it probably happened with Arenado. Probably one day in the clubhouse, went around feeling everybody's different bat models that they had, and he fell in love with it and said, let me try this out and see how it feels.
Well, Nolan Gorman again, his debut, and a first hit in that first appearance in the second.
Credit to Jeff Passan of ESPN for all of that excellent Nolan Arenado off-season backstory. Had a great feature about that this week.
I mean, when you look at Gorman's, his numbers in AAA, I mean, he was putting up high school numbers. He had 15 home runs in 34 games. I mean, you just don't hear that in professional ball too often, especially for a second baseman.
Is that the level you consider video game yet, or do we have to go a step further?
No, those are video game numbers. Those are video game numbers for sure. I mean, you feel like if you have 15 homers in 34 games, you feel like you're going deep. You feel like you're going deep every day.
Take a look at that first big league hit for Nolan Gorman.
Yeah, you're getting all the jitterbugs out. You get a nice little breaking ball up over the plate, and you give your family exactly what they were hoping to see on your first at bat.
That pays off for getting up so early.
It does. It does.
Smacks this one back to first. Michael Chavis is there. You can't win them all, but it's the Cardinals still on top by a run. We head to the bottom of the fourth.
Park. MLB debut here tonight, and I am joined by his family, his dad, Brian, mom, Jennifer, grandpa, Tom, grandma, Anna, brother, Ricky, sister, Deja, friends of the family, Brittany and Carrie, and girlfriend, Maddie. Guys, we have quite the group here. He travels with a big group. Can you guys breathe? First hit in his first big league at bat. How you feeling?
Yeah, it's such a special moment, to see him come out here and live out his dream, achieve his dream, and then, the first at bat, having that success, kind of knocks the edge off of everybody, and we're ready to go now.
He told us before the game that mom was going to be the most nervous. How did she handle it?
I'm not an emotional person, and wow.
I mean, it's such a huge moment for you guys. We know how these moments happen, these call-ups, right? So could you just walk me through what the last 24 hours has been like for you?
Yeah, sure. We got the call yesterday afternoon. Found out actually kind of through social media, but shortly thereafter, no one was able to call us and said he was going to be starting today here in Pittsburgh, and we put the word out. Nolan has a huge number of supporters. We kind of call it No-No's Army back home, and he's had great support, and everyone kind of jumped down, found flights to get here in time because we couldn't miss this.
Ricky was saying, this is the core group. This is the group that was there from the beginning, went to the tournaments, the big, perfect game tournaments and stuff. So just to see him live out his dream here tonight, just what does this mean to you?
It means everything to me because he's been doing it since he was like 3 years old. So it's a dream come true, and we're so excited, and we thank everybody that's here with us tonight because it takes a village to get to where we are today.
All right, well, let's get it over to Grandpa and Grandma over here. We saw you on the cam. You were locked in. You were focused in that at-bat. So can you walk me through that moment? What was that like for you?
I've been locked in for 19 years to watch my grandson play baseball. And it's just been a dream, and it came true.
And how insane, the fact that his best friend got called up the same exact weekend. Matthew, I mean, you guys watched them play Little League together. Could you have imagined that they would be sharing this moment with each other?
Who could have imagined it? But I can't think of any dream you could have that could be any better than this. It's just so wonderful.
His parents are right there, by the way. Matthew's parents are at the end down there.
Well, we should go talk to them in just a little bit. Can we get a wave? There they are. What a great cheering section. How cool of a moment for you guys. How are you going to celebrate? Are you here all weekend?
Well, hopefully dinner after this, and then we're going to follow them to St. Louis.
All right.
Hug is what I'm going to give them. A big hug.
Tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. to go back to Phoenix.
Oh, my God.
We have a graduation in Tucson we got to get to.
Have you slept?
No. I'll do that later.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. What a special moment for you. Enjoy the rest of the night, okay?
Thank you.
Guys, I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, Brooke, it's the most special moment, arguably, for any family's life when you finally get that call to the big leagues. And, of course, a nod to Liberatore's family, who is here as well. They wait for his start tomorrow. And really cool, John Mozeliak told Danny Wexelman earlier today about the two of them that the timing just seemed to be serendipitous. He said, we traded for Matthew, but now and then the stars align for some of the brightest stars in baseball. What a special day for him. Meanwhile, Zach Thompson, woof, clean inning. He's going to be coming up next after Adam Wainwright finishes with a strikeout after 4. The Cardinals on top. It's presented by Dairy Queen. 2013, the NLDS Cardinals Pirates. Game 5, and Adam Wainwright with a complete game to help St. Louis take that series 3-2 over Pittsburgh. 1 run, 8 hits, a walk, 6 punch-outs, and the top of the 9th sits down Pedro Alvarez on 3 straight to end it. Cardinals won 6-1 and went on to face the Dodgers in that NLCS. And you talk about an electric moment for Adam Wainwright, and you still see why he continues to be so dominant. I mean, he was painting in the bottom of that fourth and given a little bit of tough work here for Zach Thompson as he comes back to face the bottom of that Cards lineup. Thompson struck out Carlson on 3 pitches in the second. And again, just trying to continue a pretty good start to May for him. But again, this is what we've seen around the league. Pitchers who have gotten that first month under their belt, they feel like they're kind of back to where they would have been with a full spring training, a normal season, which we haven't heard since 2019.
Yeah, because he could definitely say in that first month, I was still kind of in spring training mode, still trying to find my way. But, I mean, since May has started, he's been very effective on the mound. And I wonder how much he watches Wainwright, even as he's on the bench and he's pitching against him. How much on the bench are you watching what Wainwright is doing and watching how he's effective and learning from that? Because he actually has similar stuff as Wainwright. He has the breaking ball, he has the cutter, he has the sinker that he tries to use, and he tries to stay right off the plate. He's not a big velo guy. And just right there, that's how you get soft contact. Is you stay right off the plate, you force guys to expand their zone, and you continue to get soft contact. That's the trick. It's not about velo, it's about where you can place it and how consistently you can execute that pitch.
Well, and he gets Dylan Carlson to hit it right back at Ke'Bryan Hayes in the shift.
And right here, you see this pitch is just off the plate, but it's close enough to where you can't take it, especially with 2 strikes. You can't take that and put it in the hands of the umpire. You may need to expand your zone a little bit. You get soft contact and just great defense. Easy out.
So Thompson with 1 down, he'll face Yadier Molina. And you know, it is interesting you bring that up because we hear about pitchers all the time who like to go back and they look at other pitchers, the Maddocks of the world. And Wainwright's been in the game long enough. I mean, you have got an onslaught of video to go back and watch him.
And I think it plays to find a guy that has similar stuff or at least a similar repertoire. Like, it wouldn't do Zach Thompson too much to look at, let's say, a Jordan Hicks or a Garrett Cole. Yes, you can learn some things from those guys, but y'all have completely different things going on. So as a hitter, I'm trying to find another hitter.
This one driven out to left by Molina, and it drops right over the head of a diving Castro. Yadier Molina picks up his first hit of the day.
As they say, a lot of times you'll see a player pull the pin from the grenade and throw it out there to show I couldn't have placed it out there any better. Especially with the player as fast as Castro. He's going out there, he's trying to make this play. Molina gets jammed just enough for it not to get all the way to the outfield. And Castro tries to make the play, and it's just out of his reach. Base hit. Praying, looking, let's go, get down, ball.
Do you ever smile that big after a base hit?
Oh, every time you get jammed and get a base hit, it's not the line drives. The line drives always feel good. It's the hits that you feel like you shouldn't have gotten that you enjoy the most.
And Thompson willing Castro to get that one. Bader rips the first pitch right back. Ke'Bryan Hayes heads up.
And Mel Hanna, you hear a lot of people say, oh, they even out. You know, the jam shots even out with the line drive outs. There's no player in the game who feels like they even out. So when you get that jam shot and you get that knock, you take it with a smile because you know they do not even out.
There'll be 2 outs for Tommy Edman here.
And that's the one that looks better on camera. I mean, he got jammed right there. That's an easy play for Hayes. I'm saying the exit velo on that is not 100, not 117 like we see a lot of our games.
Should we find out what the exit velo was on that?
Yeah, I'm saying the 90s right there.
90s.
I'm just guessing.
The exit velocity for that Harrison Bader was 74.1.
Oh.
Easy breezy.
You know what? I've been out the game a little bit. 74 looks like 90 to me right now.
Tommy Edman trying to keep things going here. And again, he shifts over to shortstop. A game he split 50-50 coming up through the minors between second and short. So he said it's a natural movement for him. He has taken a little more ground balls, just getting ready for this moment. And he also does a lot of shortstop drills in the offseason because that keeps his arm in better shape than just being at second base. Sends this one flying out toward left. Will it stay fair? Yep, down for a base hit. Ben Gamble's going to have to pick this one up in the corner. Station to station for Molina and a 2-out hit for Edman.
And Edman all day today, staying through the middle of the field, working the ball the other way. Yes, he also gets jammed a little bit right here on this cutter, but just having the right approach and staying through the middle of the field, that's how you get hits like this. A lot of people see hits like that and they say, oh, he got lucky right there. You create your own luck, especially with the bat in your hand. And if you stay through the middle of the field, keep a level swing, you get those type of hits.
On a long walk out here, it's Oscar Martin, the pitching coach for the Pirates, with a mound visit. And what's the discussion in this situation for Thompson?
I think he's been cruising the entire game, and he understands that. He understands that, hey, I'm not doing anything wrong. Just a couple bleeders just happened. You just had Molina who got jammed. You just had Edman who got jammed. Understand that, hey, you're executing your pitches. These things just happen. But at the same time, hey, let's stay locked in. Let's not get too worked up over the situation. This is a big at-bat right here, and we want to get you continue to stay in the game and have a quality outing.
You've got the third slowest sprint speeder in Yadier Molina at second base. Does that give you any more of a reprieve?
It matters. I mean, he's station to station right now. Yadi can do a lot of things, but flying is not one of those right now. I mean, that ball was bled down the left field line. You have a lot of guys. I mean, Tommy Edman would have gone first to third right there, but he brings so much behind the plate.
Brendan Donovan trying to extend, again, his 10-game streak in reaching safely. He's 0 for 2, flied out and struck out. Just that one run off the double play for the Cardinals in the first, and that has been it for both sides.
And Thompson getting that first cutter over a little above the zone, being able to get that strike call, forces Donovan to swing at that next pitch. He knows that second pitch is high, but he feels like he has to change his zone according to the umpire right here. And now you find yourself in an 0-2 count when Thompson really hasn't even thrown a strike yet.
Carlson sees the pitch in the same spot of the zone, so he's going to battle that one.
And that's being able to execute your pitches. So props to Thompson right there to understand, hey, umpire zone may be a little high. Let me see how high I can go. Let me see if I continue to rise a little bit, get him to chase. At the very worst, you get a weak pop-up.
Meanwhile, Heath Hembry getting up in the Pirates bullpen. Carlson underneath this one. Oh, buried. Can they make the out? Yes, bang, bang play, but the Pirates get it done, and they keep this a one-run ball game. Zach Thompson keeps working. TV Plus is brought to you by Candy. Start your digital baseball collection with Candy MLB NFTs. Go to candy.com/MLB now. It's time now for our weekly Siri trivia question. Just ask Siri, how many career hits did Roberto Clemente have? You will see that 21 all over the ballpark here. Absolutely one of the most special figures to grace this sport. There's his number. He's got the big statue out by the bridge named after him as well. But has just absolutely left a mark, not only on this organization, but the league as a whole. History kind of stands still for Clemente. Wainwright back up. First pitch swinging here for Sawinski. Wainwright has been cruising. He has retired the last 9 straight after a single to Michael Chavis in the second.
This is what we were talking about earlier, Mel. When he finds it, he finds it. And he can continue to hit the same spot over and over again and almost play mind games with hitters on, hey, I need to be aggressive. I need to be aggressive because he's throwing strikes. And as soon as you get aggressive, he expands the zone on you. It's like he can understand what your approach is when you walk to the plate. And that's just the vibe that he and Molina get. As soon as he steps in the box, you know what this guy is trying to do.
And he commented about their relationship with Molina. And he said it's gotten to the point where, again, they don't really argue because of the whole neck tattoo rule. But He said, you read somebody after that long. We go into the dugout and we're as excited about the same things. We're mad about the same things. We express it in the same way. We finish each other's sentences. I know what pitch he's about to call because, again, no pitch comm system. Just by the hand movement, where it's about to go to signal what he's going to go to. And I know, Hannah, we've talked about this. Again, no pitch comm for St. Louis because of Yadi.
He said, I've played catch with Yadi here for long enough. There's a lot of different ways to give signs. If I had a robot voice in my ear instead of getting the signs from Yadier, it wouldn't feel right to me. But even beyond that, so I asked Wayno, how do you feel about this data revolution in baseball? You're a guy who came up and got to see it from the beginning in some respects. And he said, I absolutely embrace it. He said, it's got to be a balance. He wouldn't necessarily want to be a young pitcher now. He likes that he got to come up with the feel and all of that. But he would love a pitch comm solution to sign stealing. He said it's his least favorite thing in the world when there's a runner on second and he's worried that he's stealing his signs. Part of it's Yadier, and part of it is he just doesn't think the system is perfect yet. He said he's seen guys who can't hear the pitch comm, and he's concerned. He said, I don't want to get used to anything in the regular season. That's not going to work for me in the postseason when you got a stadium full of people yelling for you.
Right.
I like that confidence.
And these guys have worked together so long. It's like, yes, something new and maybe even more effective has come out, but we've been doing this together for so long. So let's continue to go out here and trust what we do.
Well, he picks up his third strikeout, going back to that sinker. Again, that's over half of his strikeouts. And they've been looking off that pitch. Drive here for Michael Perez. Center field, Harrison Bader, that Statue of Liberty green glove. And meanwhile, Brooke got to catch up with Derek Shelton on Zach Thompson. What's been working for him, not only tonight, but this month?
Yeah, we need for him to continue to throw the cutter. He's done a nice job with it, and then keep the two-seamer, just make sure they stay on the ground.
You knew it was going to be tough facing a veteran pitcher like Adam Wainwright, but you guys are staying aggressive at the plate. What sort of adjustments do you need to make in order to get some runs going here?
Yeah, we just got to make sure he doesn't nibble. I mean, he likes to throw the ball on the edges. We got to make sure that we get him in the middle of the plate. We've had a couple opportunities. We just need to continue to go with it.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, thanks.
Trying to cut down on allowing Wainwright. I mean, you mentioned this, just that allowance for him to expand and to nibble and forcing him to go through the zone.
Right, trying to get your feel, and you're also trying to get a feel for what the strike zone is.
Rodolfo Castro finds the gap. He'll drive this one up the left side. Base hit with 2 outs.
That's nice to see Castro go out here and get him a little single up the middle. What I remember about him last year was his first 5 hits were all home runs, which is very odd for a player, but that was amazing to see him just take a fastball, take it right back through the box. Hit it back where it came from. That's what they say. You see a little sinker right there. He stays through the ball. Low line drive. We'll take it, though. Wainwright's fine with giving up a single every now and then.
And the 22-year-old trying to fill the spot at shortstop, Kevin Newman, out with a groin. Of no relation, by the way. I do get that one every now and then. None. Back up to the top with Ben Gamble.
Wainwright's using that curveball early in the count to this entire offense. And we saw earlier, I mean, this is 36 innings, 36 consecutive scoreless versus the Pirates. It's like he knows the cheat code against the Pirates and what these guys can hit. And that's just so impressive to have that type of history with the team, because you assume that sooner or later they're going to make the adjustment and figure it out. It's different Pirates teams. What does he do to us? How is he successful against us? And he continues to make adjustments and find success.
Could also be that he loves the park. I asked him about it. He said, one of my favorite stadiums.
Yeah, it's a top 5 for me as well.
It's a top 2 golf city for Wainwright as well.
Yeah, I asked him if he had anything special planned, and he said, golf.
You think he would have gone golfing with me this morning if I would have texted him? Hey, you want to go get a quick 9 in?
You missed your chance.
I mean, he seems pretty cool, calm, and collected.
Miss the shots you don't take, CY.
Never know unless you ask, right?
You got to get on his tomorrow when he does his old man walk. Then you're walking around the what is it, a golf course? What do they call it? The grounds? The grass?
The greens?
The greens. I'm going to stick to baseball.
There we go. 0-2 to Gamble. Runner goes. Yadier. Oh, rare miss here. This one just flips off the top for Edman. Keep your eyes peeled on that one, because Castro swipes a rare bag
I want to see here, was this the old delay steal trick right here? It was, and this is a delay steal. When you have a catcher behind the plate who's known for throwing players out, one thing you can do is you could take those 3 shuffles, and right as the ball is entering the zone, that's when you take off. You try to catch the defense sleeping and hope that the shortstop doesn't cover. He covers right here, but Molina had just enough of a delay to allow Castro to make it right there. Great base running right there by Castro.
Now the tying run in scoring position here, and they do not take kindly to Castro. And again, Edman has had time at short. That's his first career stolen base for Castro. But does he read the fact that even though Edman's had time there, that's still not his usual spot?
It's not his usual spot, but I mean, I think you're more trying to work on deception right there and just catch the catcher off guard. And I think it's a great time to do it. You have 2 strikes. If I get thrown out, we still have Gamble leading the inning off next inning, which is completely fine if I'm thrown out. But this is the time to take the chance, try to get in scoring position. And now if Gamble hits a single, we get on the board as well. St. Louis got on the board by their good base running skills. Pirates are trying to do the same thing.
Pirates leadoff hitters have been doing well this year. Gamble would love to trade places, tie this one up. They have nearly an 84% contact rate on in-zone pitches, and to put that into perspective, only 1 tonight has been a whiff for them.
Well, now Wainwright has his least favorite situation, a runner on second. He said, I hate it. Takes away from the most pure part of baseball, which is that battle between the pitcher and the hitter.
Right.
Hates having a guy behind him.
I'll take those numbers with running in scoring position right there. Ben Gamble in the leadoff spot has been amazing this year as well.
Chopper, this will go foul, and Shelton talked about that earlier today as well. He said, you know, we're still figuring out our offensive identity, but again, their leadoff, really that top 1 through 4 has been some of the best production. He said now the next step forward in finding that identity is the bottom end of our lineup, being able to produce, being able to continue to set the table for the next. And so shortstop Castro trying to do his best here, that 2-out hit.
And the bottom of the lineup will start to fill out as you start to bring some of those young prospects up and you start to continue to develop the young players that you have in the big leagues. It's still early for them right now, but hopefully they're getting close to the point of bringing some of those young studs up.
Wainwright taking his time. So we've seen pitches up at that top end of the zone every now and then by home plate umpire Ryan Wills getting the call. That breaking ball for Knott.
Yeah, and this curveball, luckily his curveball is so big that to the umpire it may look like it crossed high right there because it has so much depth to it and it is so slow. But that ball may have touched that top corner right there.
Castro flirting. Ground ball just foul again. So you read that scouting report, you know that he gets annoyed with a runner at second, so you just start dancing. You make that defense bird dog you a little bit, but you catch that peripheral of your pitcher.
You do. And Wainwright, he's a veteran enough to know, like, I can't worry about that base runner. But even for a veteran like him, it could be tough at times because you still see him. You still see that pressure right there. But Gamble being on that heater in, I'm curious to see if Wainwright goes away with something soft to try to keep him off balance, or does he just go further in and see if Gamble is willing to bite.
Pitch number 8, it's in the dirt. He loses Gamble. And the Pirates continue on. Here comes Key Brian Hayes. Here's the Cardinals with all of their reports. As Hayes takes a slow step in, he's got the bright yellow gloves, the bright yellow cleats. It's all going on. And again, just highlights. You saw guys like Josh Bell really grab that attention, but maybe he was a little bit too ahead of when the Pirates were ready to start pursuing October. And for Hayes, he's got that chance now to come in with just a little bit of that experience to lead now the next guys who are going to start getting those calls.
Right, and one thing I do like about the Pirates, I like a lot of things about the Pirates, but one thing I really like about the Pirates is that they went ahead and recognized that, hey, we potentially have a young star right here. Let's go ahead and try to build our core. Let's go ahead and get these guys paid and let them know that, hey, we want you to be a big part of our future. So for Key Bryant being able to get the opportunity to get that early deal, it's been great for him. But this matchup is one that I've been really excited to see all night because you have Key Bryant Hayes, who hits really well off of fastballs. I mean, he's hitting over 360 and slugging over 450 against fastballs. And Wainwright is a fastball pitcher, so I'm always curious to watch this back and forth and see, does a pitcher make an adjustment because he understands that a hitter can really hit the fastball, or does Wainwright just stick with his meat and potatoes per se and say, I'm still going to throw the fastball, but it's all about where I place the fastball. And you see, Key Bryant has had no success off Wainwright, never getting a hit off of him. He's a fastball hitter. Wainwright's a fastball pitcher, and it still doesn't always match up. It all depends on what guy's on the mound and where he can execute his pitches. And you see right here with fastballs, Key Bryant has been all over the fastball. So I'm curious to see, does Wainwright stick with it, or does he try to get him to roll over on a breaking ball or fly out on something up in the zone?
Molina breaks up the mound visit for he and the entire Cardinals infield. 2 aboard, 2 out, and late time called as Wainwright goes into motion. We've been seeing that a lot this year across the league, and it has raised some eyebrows.
That's a late time call right here. Wainwright's ready to get going. And pitchers never like it when you call time, but when you're in the box, you don't know that he's about to lift his leg.
Runner goes again. Castro gets tagged. He wants another look at this one. As some hops there against a Gold Glover. See if Shelton and the rest of the crew will take a look as the Cardinals backing slowly away from this one. But the young Castro was trying to go 2 for 2. Ollie Marmol doesn't really find that there's anything to take a look, but let's get a glance for ourselves.
And this was very odd to me. He went a delay steal with 2 outs, trying to steal third base. He's trying to catch Arenado off guard right here, which maybe he did a little bit, but that's not the time to do a delay steal.
Well, it doesn't like we will get a review of this one. As both teams are heading to the dugout, they check the hand of Wainwright. But for Castro, you might want that one back. The Pirates were set up in their prime, and instead they are denied. You're watching Friday Night Baseball.
Studio update out to Miami for the Braves and the Fish. Top 3, Travis d'Arnaud goes yard, or as Carlos Pena would say, placata. City of brotherly love here. Runners in scoring position, top of the second. 1-0 there for LA. Freddie Freeman with the single, 2-run score, 3-0. LA and Trevor Story stay hot, my friend, out at Fenway Park over the Green Monster with the grand slam. 11 RBI over his last 2 games. I mean, it's pretty good if you're into that kind of thing, Mel.
LG, to say that Trevor Story has found his stride outside of Colorado is an understatement, as this ball put on the ground by Goldschmidt. Castro back over to first, and the first batter Heath Hembree will face is retired.
And right here, this is very hard to understand. You're trying not to be too critical, but right here, you have Key Bryant Hayes at the plate, one of the hardest hitting players in the game. And you try, and this is where you get a little too aggressive. You very rarely see a delay steal trying to steal third base, take advantage of Molina and Nolan Arenado, who are 2 veterans out there. It's really like you did the Cardinals a favor right there. I'm sure Shelton's going to have a talk with him after the game to say, hey, I love the aggressiveness, but you have to understand the right time and the right place, and you just ran yourself out of an inning right there.
And Nolan Arenado, speaking of, that first pitch from Heath Hembree. A little misfire there. Arenado 0 for 2 on the day.
Coming in hot, but Arenado that's actually perfect technique right there for getting hit by a pitch. If it were to hit him, you try to roll off the ball to stop it from hitting you square. So if that ball was able to hit his elbow pad right there, he would have been just fine because he's rolling off of it. There's a true skill to learning how to get hit by a pitch. And I'm sure they come up and in on Arenado enough to where he's learned how to do it.
Well, and you know that for Heath Hembry, his 17th appearance on the season, the righty not trying to do that. Spartanburg, South Carolina native takes over after 1 run through 5 innings off of 5 hits for Zach Thompson. 80 pitches, 58 of those for strikes. And Hembry starting off with 3, 4, and 5 of the Cardinals. And again, missed to Goldschmidt before he got him to ground out to Castro. And you can imagine Castro trying to make up for that inning-ending play that you just broke down for us. But for Hembry, his last time out was Monday against the Cubs, an inning of scoreless work. But trying to find it here, he'll lose Arenado on 4 straight misses. Well, it's time for the answer to our weekly Siri trivia question. How many career hits did Roberto Clemente have? Do we have any guesses, guys? This is a nice round number here.
Yeah, I think I know this one. Do you know this one?
Oh yeah.
Should we say it in unison? 3,000.
And what?
No, it's just 3,000. He has 3,000 hits on the dot.
Oh, I thought I was going to get you right there.
You almost did. I was like, oh my God.
So again, the answer, according to Siri, 3,000 career major league hits. And again, that number is everywhere, and there it is. The push to retire 21. He's a humanitarian, a phenomenal player. He was a gateway, especially for a lot of Latin players trying to find their way in Major League Baseball. And of course, he died on New Year's Eve making that humanitarian mission when his plane crashed. And what a loss it was, just on so many levels. Juan Yepez, a 1-1 count. He's flied out to left twice. And Gamble has happily put him away.
Yepez, that's a long time for him not having a hit. Seems like he's probably due right around now.
3 for 13 on the road trip coming into tonight. Right side wide open.
I know I missed a couple weeks, so how's it been calling your shot up here? See what
I haven't called.
Okay, I was going to say, I noticed you were.
No, that was not a call right there.
That was a call right there.
That was not a call. I'm not claiming that as a call. I will let you know when I make a call, but I haven't been successful lately with predicting what's going to happen ahead of time. So I really want to make sure I'm very confident this time before I make the call.
Big chase there for Yepez. Hembry starting to find his groove.
Yeah, really known from his time with Boston. He's a 4-seam slider guy pretty much. He has a curveball, but he very rarely uses it. You can expect to see that 94-mile-an-hour 4-seamer or that 84, 85-mile-an-hour slider trying to stay off the barrel.
You mentioned the slider. All 4 pitches to Yepez have been that pitch. After he went fastball heavy to Goldschmidt and Arenado.
I think if you're Yepez right here, you're seeing that Heater's really losing that arm side run on his fastball. So although it's a 3-2 count, it seems like he's a little more comfortable throwing that slider, and I think you just need to try to get something up and out over the plate right here, because when it's in, it's running way in off the plate.
Anthony Banda getting warm in the bullpen. Yepez, this one beats the infield. Right through the middle between Hayes and Castro. Yepez finds it, his first hit of the night. And the contact just continues, but you take a look at what he was able to do that first at-bat. StatCast powered by Google Cloud.
And you're watching that ball. When he hit that ball, he had a good feeling. I think I got enough of that. But that's what happens when you're used to playing in Busch Stadium and you're used to that ball being a home run. But here at PNC Park, that's warning track pop, and that's an out. And that's how much of a difference it makes depending on what ballpark you're playing in.
Well, and that's going to be out for Heath Hembry as well, pulled after facing the minimum here in the top of the 6th. New pitcher for the Pirates when we come back. Minimum 3 batters, gets Goldschmidt to ground out, gives up a walk and a single to Juan Yepes. And in comes the southpaw, Anthony Banda, the 28-year-old Corpus Christi native, claimed off of waivers from the Mets in August of 21, threw a third of an inning, 3 pitches Tuesday against the Cubs. That's about as good as you can ask for to get that out. 2.35 ERA on the season, his 11th appearance overall, and he will get the newcomer, Nolan Gorman, to start things out.
And changeup monster Banda is. Although it's 87 miles an hour, he uses that changeup almost 60% of the time, mixes in with his four-seam fastball and his curveball. But I'd like to assume that he's using that changeup to the righties quite a bit, but for a lefty matchup guy to go lefty-lefty changeup is not as common, but still very effective if you can execute the pitch and put it in the right spot.
And for Banda here, we've got a pitch calm issue. This is literally what Adam Wainwright was not loving about the system. But the good news is he has a relationship with his battery mate, Michael Perez, that goes all the way back to 2015, 2016. These guys have had time in Arizona and Tampa Bay's system together. He's fluctuated between being a starter and reliever. He's out of the pen with the Pirates. A little wide to the rookie making his debut. 1 for 2 day for Gorman so far. For Banda, again, inheriting those runners at first and second. But Perez looks like they've got things going now. He fires in those buttons on the system. Infield to the right against Gorman.
Gorman's showing great patience, and I always feel like early in their careers for hitters, young hitters that, you know, haven't been in the big leagues, I feel like early in the careers is an advantage hitter because you don't have all the advanced scouting reports. Yeah, you have minor league scouting reports, but I don't think they play the same. I think a lot of times pitchers are trying to figure out the hitter. And Gorman's showing great plate discipline. I mean, he's known in the minor leagues. He does have some swing and miss in his swing. And you normally get that exchange when you have a lot of power. And he's that guy, but showing his discipline right here in his first game in the big leagues is very promising.
And Michaelis talked about it earlier, those 15 home runs, second best in the minors. And he'll draw a walk. Meanwhile, Brooke, you got to talk to the family earlier, but you've also got a little more on Nolan and his buddy, Matt Liberatore.
Yeah, guys, I mean, huge moment for Nolan Gorman making his debut, but what makes it better than making the debut the same weekend as your good friend, Matthew Liberatore? They grew up together, you guys, and played travel baseball. Listen, they knew that they both were going to make it to the bigs one day. It was just a matter of time and when. But here they are, making their big league debut the same weekend. Both of their families are in the stands. Talked to Nolan's family, and then just a few rows over was Matthew's. But what a special moment for both of these guys.
Yeah, well, and it's his walk that will load the bases full of Cardinals here for Dylan Carlson.
Man, you couldn't draw it up any better. If I had one of my boys, that I grew up with, and we get a chance to go to the big leagues together on the same squad, that allows you to be comfortable right out of the gate because y'all are going through it together. It's amazing. Big spot right here, though.
So for the first time today, Carlson will spin around from the right side against the southpaw Banda. Strings it out, a little breaking ball strike. Carlson, career batting .315 off of lefties. Again, 0 for 2 from the left side today, a strikeout and a ground out. Cardinals would love to open up this one-run game. It came home in the first inning, and they've been in a stalemate since. Banda trying to keep the Pirates in this one. Ten RBI on the season for Carlson.
That is a great executed pitch right there. Yeah, when Carlson was on deck, watching Gorman's at bat. He's saying, oh, Banda's a little erratic today, right now. Maybe I give him a couple pitches to see if he can find the strike zone. And then Banda goes out and is able to execute a breaking ball up and away and a fastball in on the paint. So now it opens up that changeup away if he really wants to go to it, or he can go fastball in even further in off the plate.
Sounds like a splintered bat as this one just dives foul for Carlson. He's going to have to take a moment, exchange for a new piece of hardware.
And that's a great pitch by Banda right there. He had the opportunity to expand away with the changeup, but he chooses to go in with that fastball. But he's not trying to throw a strike with that fastball. He's trying to get it in off the plate to jam Carlson or get him to take for a back door, front door two-seamer. But Carlson pulling his hands in shows that, hey, even though I got jammed, I can get to that fastball in. So I'm curious to see if Banda goes back in there. Goes back in there, or does he go with the changeup down and away?
Trying to work with the bases loaded and just one out. Time called. One-two. Carlson straightens this one out, and it falls. One run will score, and a big stop sign held up here, but St. Louis doubles their lead 2-0. RBI single. Dylan Carlson brings home Arenado. Bases stay loaded full of Redbirds for Yadier Molina.
And Banda, he throws the changeup, but he leaves it up in the zone enough for Carlson. Although he was a little out in front, he still got the barrel to the ball, stayed through the middle of the field, took his RBI, and keep the line moving.
So you've got Yepez, Gorman, and Carlson aboard for Molina. 1 for 2 today. Frustration there for Banda. Runner, of course, charged to Heath Hembry. He's also responsible for Yepez at third. And another first pitch swing for the Cards. Molina with an RBI. How many come home? A 2-run single, and now Yadi's got to scamper back to first. But he is all smiles. St. Louis opening this one up. They make it 4-0.
That's Yadi just being a professional hitter. I mean, he's known around the game for being one of the more aggressive swingers in the game, especially first pitch. It doesn't have to be a fastball. He's just looking for something just up enough in the zone. All those off the end of the bat. He got jammed once, off the end of the bat once. Both times comes out with a hit. And right here, 2 stakes are attached to it.
Career .335 with the bases loaded. You think that vet is used to some of that pressure? He puts it up in the numbers. That closes Hembry's line. 2 runs through that third of an inning for him. There's Banda to Harrison Bader. 96 for a strike. Oh for 2. He's popped up and lined out. He's kept it all in the infield. The pitcher and Brian Hayes making those outs.
What I love about this Cardinals offense, you start to see more and more guys continue to cut down on their strikeout rate. I mean, a couple years ago, Bader was known to be a high strikeout guy. He struck out over 30% of the time, and that's as early as 2 years ago. This year, he's only striking out at the rate of about 15%. So to be able to slow it down, shorten up a little bit, and understand the value of putting the ball in play, it makes their team that much more dangerous when you're going against them.
And they do that with the 3rd lowest barrel rate in the game. And you see teams like the Guardians, but also the Mets.
And it's not always about, I mean, yes, you want to hit barrels, you want to hit the ball hard, but if you can cut your strikeout rate down and make things happen, keep the ball in play, it allows errors to happen. It allows guys to move forward, but strikeouts just don't do anything for your team. So Bader being able to understand the importance of that is huge for his development and, his well-roundedness as a player.
Takes a hack here, but sends that one out foul. And he dropped it from a 32 to 15.8%, that little graphic right there. I mean, that's more than half. That is monumental.
That's two completely different types of hitters. I mean, that's not a small drop. That is literally going from a big power swing and miss guy to, hey, you know what? I need to shorten up and put the ball in play more, especially with how fast I am. I can go out here and I can steal bases. I can impact the game so many ways. I need to put the ball in play so I can show off my speed.
Banda ahead. Can he win the battle here as Bader continues to find contact following Molina? By the way, 6 RBI his last 5 games. Not too bad for your backstop.
Not at all. Not bad for your 8-hole hitter.
When you talk about Bader making himself into less of a strikeout guy, I mean, he kind of has to be because he doesn't have that exit velo. He was 5th lowest in exit velo for outfielders last year, 6th lowest this year. But you're right, he's sort of having decent offensive production anyway.
He finds a gap here into left field, a base hit. It brings home Dylan Carlson, and the Cardinals running away here in the 6th, make it 5-zip.
Like you were saying, Hannah, it's not all about hitting barrels. It's not all about exit velo. I agree with you completely that him being able to stay in that at-bat, not strike out on that high fastball, stay in that at-bat, and be able to take that slight cutter in and get jammed. A lot of jammed hits, and I feel like Pittsburgh is probably on defense, or at least the pitchers are, and saying, hey, man, we're executing our pitches. They're getting jammed. They're getting it off the end, and every single time it seems like it's a base hit. Just seems like one of those days for the Pittsburgh pitchers.
And they're going to have another mound visit here as they'll flip back to the top of the lineup with Tommy Edman. That single, by the way, for Bader, we talk about how the exit velocity is not there, 78 off the bat. So we've seen a lot of that tonight. But again, the Cardinals get it done. They are not that hard-hit team this year, but they will find your weaknesses and prey upon them.
I appreciate him demonstrating that so nicely. That was so nice of him.
Well, you're calling your
I should have called the shot, yeah.
Banda trying to wrap this one up. Still just 1 out in the top of the 6th. This has gone from a 1-0 to a 5-0 ball game. Second reliever on for the Pirates. Tommy Edman, a 2-for-3 night. Sees first pitch hunting again. Edman over the offseason, again, see why you talk about it being so difficult to be a switch hitter. And he said, that right's always been easy for me because I throw from my right side, so I'm used to pushing off of that leg. So he focused on leg movements this offseason, changing the way his hips are, so that when he does flip around from the left side, he can still power those legs, and it's made all the difference in his average.
Yeah, he really wanted to drive the ball more, you know, especially left-handed. He wanted to be able to take that inside pitch and pull it, and pull it with authority. He feels very comfortable from his right side, and there are a lot of switch hitters when you talk to him that they feel like they have one natural side. And for Tommy Edman, it seems like that, you know, that hitting right-handed is that natural side, and he feels like he needs to work a little more on that left-handed side. But he's looked great left-handed tonight.
See what he can do from the other side. Again, that right side being his natural. Still dealing with 2 men on for Banda.
And with the pitcher, it's when I'm watching, when you're seeing Banda pitch right now, yeah, he has great stuff, but it makes it tough. You can get 2 strikes on a guy, but if you don't have that wipeout pitch to really get that strikeout when you need it, it makes it really tough to put guys away.
A long look at second. Edman skies this one, and it'll be Castro.
Talked about how Molina isn't quick on the base paths, of course, but coming into second here, it looks like he's running slower even than usual, and then he's sort of favoring his knee over there. Wonder if we will see him still squatting behind the plate when we go to the next inning.
Yeah, Hannah, it looks like he has some tightness. Maybe that hamstring, maybe that calf, it all ties in together. Especially you're a guy who's squatting all game. You're probably feeling that. But luckily, in my opinion, he's not a speed demon. And a lot of the bigger, slower guys say, hey, we don't need our hammy that much. We're never trying to get the top speed.
I mean, we talk about how Molina Wainwright, Pujols, all guys who are getting a little bit up there in age, spent playing with the same team for a long time. But we should focus on how particularly impressive it is for a catcher to do that. I mean, it's so hard to be contributing at that age.
Meanwhile, Albert Pujols had stepped up to the plate, and it caused a little bit of a momentary pause here as Banda was trying to check through the sheet in his cap. He will instead depart. Shelton opts to go back to the bullpen again to face Pujols in the top of the 6th on Friday Night Baseball. Presented by Q Health. Melanie Newman alongside Chris Young, Hannah Kaiser, and Brooke Fletcher live from PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You can stream out-of-market regular season games live or on demand, plus MLB big inning and select pregame and postgame coverage. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Night falling here in Pittsburgh, and it's gotten a little darker for the Pirates as well. They came into the 6th with a 1-0 game, and it is opened up by the Cardinals now. They've tacked on another 4, and here comes pinch hitter Albert Pujols in place of Brendan Donovan. He'll face the new righty in Chase DeYoung, and the 28-year-old Californian comes home. Anthony Banda following Heath Hembry, both pitchers only recording a third of an out, a walk, and 3 hits for Banda. 8th appearance for DeYoung. 2 innings against the Cubs on Tuesday with a run allowed. It's a 2.03 ERA. Runners at first and second for Pujols.
And Bunda, one of those guys, throws the kitchen sink at you. Fastball, slider, curve, change, sinker. And Shelton going to make the move to bring the righty in, especially when Marmo brings in Pujols right there. You kind of have to. I mean, this season, Pujols is hitting .474 against lefties and .111 versus righties. So when you make a move like this to bring in Pujols for Donovan, you have to make the move and bring the righty into the game.
And it looks like a piece of that pitch calm on Michael Perez may have gotten a little busted up. He heads over to the dugout. They'll exchange for a new one, gives the thumbs up. And Perez just having a quick word here with home plate umpire Ryan Wills. They're trying to get on the same page. It looks like it just fell straight out there. Something you don't usually see, especially given that that is a new system this year.
You know, I like PitchCom, but it's not a ringing endorsement for it coming out of this game tonight.
It's not working too well today. This is the first night that we've seen any issues with it, and it's only because Wainwright's was on the mound, and he didn't like it.
It's confirmation bias is what that is.
Meanwhile, Pujols, that .314 career pinch hitting. You love to see that off the bench. And a situation that he knew he would be in this year. It was a very open conversation and kind of what worked out so well for him after some miscommunication out on the West Coast last year. Of course, he goes from the Angels to the Dodgers, but he knew he would have that type of a moment here with St. Louis, but also just the role that they wanted him to embrace as a mentor. And that's what we talked about with Yepes earlier, not being disappointed that he went from being the go-to righty bench guy to somebody as big of a name as Pujols, but instead his shadow. Pujols smacks this one, but it's foul. We'll take a look here at some of the career numbers that Pujols has been able to put up, and no doubt some of the greatest company in the game.
I mean, that is elite company right there. Pujols being able to put together this body of work over his career is just unbelievable. First ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt, and it has been a pleasure to be able to watch this entire career.
So the 9th man at the plate for the Cardinals here in the 6th, the 3rd pitcher out of the pen for Pittsburgh. Pujols with a tall fly, shallow right field. Van Meter, Sawinski in. It'll be Sawinski with the final out, but damage done by St. Louis as they open this one up. Cardinals have opened up this one for Adam Wainwright. So he'll start things off with Brian Hayes. Feels like it's been a minute since we've seen him.
It's like it's been forever. It seems like that was 3 innings ago where Brian was hitting, but he gets a fresh shot.
So he skies the first pitch. Out of play. At the plate, in the bottom of the 5th before it got interrupted. Castro feeling a little high off of that first career stolen base, tried to take third, but that Molina-Arenado combination says no more.
And following that, Wainwright gets to go take a sit for 29 minutes plus right there. Long break for Wainwright. Mickey Bryant coming out, being aggressive again. He worked himself to a 2-2 count. Now he finds himself again in an 0-2 count to start his at-bat. Very similar to last at-bat.
4 runs in the top of the 6th for the Cardinals for that 5-0 difference, as this had been a pretty good pitcher's duel. Zach Thompson, again, just 1 run through those 5. But a little dicey for the bullpen. Drive out to right field. This will back up Carlson at the track. And he puts away Hayes. Let's go take a look at some pinpoint accuracy presented by Q Health. Adam Wainwright has had it.
And he's been having so much success being able to get soft contact, being able to stay on the corners, keeping the hitters off balance. He's not missing over the middle plate much at all. And he's continued to go out there and be comfortable. He threw a lot of pitches in the first inning, but since he's settled in, he's been able to get early, easy outs with soft contact.
So in that 3-pitch out of Ke'Bryan Hayes brings up Brian Reynolds.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about earlier with St. Louis. They don't strike out a lot, and they also don't induce a lot of strikeouts. They have this good defense, and so they go out and they get contact pitchers. Or, you know, they've had contact pitchers for their entire career.
Yeah.
33 swings for the Pirates, 2 whiffs. 65, getting a little ephus action there from Wainwright.
It seems like that curveball is getting slower and slower. Normally that curveball is around 73 miles an hour, but that's what makes Wainwright so successful, is that he's able to change the shape, able to change the speed on it to where you can never feel like you've seen this pitch before, because he continues to change it.
Well, and Hannah, you mentioned not being a big strikeout team. They're amongst the tops. Their team ground ball out rate induced by pitchers is 50%. And I think that's what happens, too, when you know that your entire infield is lined with Gold Gloves.
It's so interesting to think about organizations having identities, having philosophies. The Cardinals being a defense, a fundamentals organization, of course, reference the Rays and their analytics, and the Pirates and their early adoption of analytics. I find that so interesting. I love that sort of, you know, what it means for an organization, a team, to have an identity, and how that evolves over time and how that stays consistent over time.
And it's amazing that the Cardinals are able to continue to build their team like this. It seems like with the amount of success that a franchise like the Cardinals have had, that other teams will look and say, you know what, maybe we should focus on pitching and defense and speed again, like we did back in the days, and not only focus on power, because that doesn't always translate into winning seasons.
Well, you mentioned that focus on defense. That's been it for the Pirates. This one, chopper. Wainwright with the looper underhand toss.
Yeah, I talked to Ali Marmol earlier this week, and he's been with the organization for his entire career, too. And so I asked him, you know, what have you seen change or not change during the course of your sort of 10 years as first year as manager? But he was with them for a while, and he said, I thought this was interesting. He said, the organization rarely searches. He said, what I mean by that is it anchors to what it does so well. And I asked him, what's one of the things they do so well? And he said, people really like to contribute in the jobs that they are. They're not always searching for that next job. They're not looking to leave the organization to get a promotion.
He's absolutely shown that reflection of an intellectual sameness with the Cardinals. That was a big reason why they wanted to bring him up. That philosophical approach that he has to the game is so in line. And Hannah, it makes sense. He's had his whole lifetime with the Redbirds. Wainwright and Tsutsugo. Another one deep into the Pittsburgh sky. Backs up Dylan Carlson. 38 consecutive scoreless innings for Adam Wainwright against the Pirates. We head to the 7th.
And was out as early as 2 days ago in New York. Came out the gate against the Mets, 3 for 4, homering right here off of Chris Bassett in the 3rd inning to tie the game 2-2. Coming back up in the 5th, hitting a big RBI double, again off Bassett, to give the Cardinals 3-2 lead right here. And then with 2 outs, men on the corners in the 9th inning, he hit a solo shot, hit a shot to third for that Escobar booted. Ended up getting the run in, the tying run. They ended up losing the game right there. But Goldie putting the bat on the ball, continuing to make things happen. It seems like guys are making mistakes all the time when Goldie puts the bat on the ball. And right there, a miscue in right field, allowing Goldie to get to second base. It's not a double right there, but he's on base, no outs, in scoring position.
Brian Reynolds and Jack Sawinski tried to converge on that one.
And it seems like the Pirates, these are the type of things that when you're not winning ball games, it's the small things that you don't do. You know, it's the small base running cues, small defensive cues that you miss. And if you do that over and over again and continue to give a team, especially like the Cardinals, 2, 3, 4 extra outs to play with over the course of a game, it's going to end up costing you in the long run.
Third most errors in baseball this year for the Pirates at 31. And see why, how much of that starts to just dissipate simply as this team gets a little more time in the big leagues.
You hope so, and that's what Shelton is here for. He's here to talk about these guys, talk to these guys about baseball, but also to talk to them about how do I deal with this failure? What else is going on? How do we move on from this, be able to have short-term memories in this game, let this stuff go, understand that we're still developing, and go out there and get better. Yeah, a lot of coaches will go out and you're doing early work, and you're talking about all the mistakes, but there's so many approaches to make your players better. And you also have to be like you almost have to be like a mind coach for your guys to allow them to get rid of these mistakes and miscues and understanding the bigger picture and what we have to do to be better moving forward.
Well, and you just don't get any breaks with this lineup as DeYoung with a 2-1 count facing Arenado. And we talked to Derek Shelton about that a little bit, the Pirates skipper, and he said, I don't really like that you would kind of look at it, that approach of that I have to be a dad to these guys, but at the same time, if, you know, the 2020 season, and we saw so much change, and that identification again that these players are human beings, and that human element, said, yeah, there's a lot of it where you kind of are that therapist and you're working out, making sure that the stuff off the field for them is okay, that they know they have an outlet for it, that my door is open, because that's what also kind of helps prevent some of those situations. You have a better game when you as a person are taken care of.
Right, I agree completely. And as a manager, you have to have a good feel for the team that you have, the players that you have up there. And when they're young, you understand that, hey, he has to manage the guys completely different than how Marmol manages those guys.
Marmol talked about this earlier in the week. I thought it was so honest. He said, you know, he got this job after being a bench coach for a while, and he was upfront about this being a much bigger fit. He said, I don't get passionate about teaching the technical side of the game. Jose Oquendo, he's a stud. He'll go out there for the next 12 hours and teach people how to field ground balls. And I love him for that, but that's just not my passion. So both these guys, Derek Shelton and Ollie Marmol, they're guys who like to talk to their players about the bigger picture, their identity, their sort of, you know, the life stuff.
Arenado fighting to stay alive right there. Sometimes you just need new life right there. He's probably looking breaking ball. DeYoung tries to sneak a heater in there. And Arenado just puts the bat out there and says, hey, I need to live to fight another day right here. And foul this ball off.
Not been easy today. Even that double play, I mean, he still forced 6 pitches before he finally gave it up. Reached and scored in the 6th. But it's what you expect from Arenado. .324, runners in scoring position, trying to give that a little boost as he sends this one out to the left. Again, DeYoung came on to get the final out in the 6th. That took 3 different Pittsburgh relievers.
And right here you see, oh, you're looking breaking ball, oh, that's a heater. Let me fight it off. And then next time, you know what, let me go ahead and get the head out. If you're going to try to throw that pitch again, I'm going to pull it foul, get the head out. And Arenado, he knows that this year and in years past building up to this year, he's been pulling the ball a lot more of lately. When you think of Arenado in Colorado, you think of a guy standing through the middle of the field, hitting the ball the other way. But every year, increasingly, he continues to pull the ball more and more. And talking with him before the game, I said, is this something intentional that you're doing? Is it the difference in ballparks that's causing you to make this adjustment, what you're seeing? And he says, no, I'm still trying to stay through the middle of the field, but at the same time, trying to pull the ball the right way. It's not trying to roll over. It's trying to stay through the middle of the field and just catch it a little bit out in front.
He stays battling here, and you mentioned that, CY. He came in today with 30 pulled line drives and fly balls, and that's amongst some of the highest numbers. He's also got one of the highest launch angles to the 26.4. But you take a look at what he is looking at right now with DeYoung. That's a book.
This is why you can't be a guest hitter. This is why you have to be in a good place, because you see slider, heaters, sliders, curveballs. You're getting a little bit of everything, so you have to be in a good position to be able to handle both of those pitches.
17th pitch, 10th for Arenado alone from DeYoung, and he pretzels him. DeYoung comes out on top, his first strikeout of the night.
Best pitch in baseball. People will tell you over and over and again that backup breaking ball. You're expecting it to break away from you, but it continues to come into you, and it's just too tough for a hitter to be able to make that adjustment in real time.
So after throwing the whole kitchen sink, it's the slider with the punch out. Brings up Juan Yepez. 1 for 3. A single after sending his other 2 outs right to Ben Gamel.
And Yepez has done that the last couple of bats that he's had. First pitch breaking ball way off the plate. And it shows you that, hey, you know what? I'm going up there in an 0-0 count. I'm going to sit heater, and I'm going to be ready for it. And if he throws something else, hey, I'll look silly. But you know what? It's only 1 strike. Now I can lock back into my bat.
Oh, if he reaches out again, DeYoung keeping everything breaking.
And as a pitcher, you get into this 0-2 count, not even close to the plate. It'll be very hard for me to understand. Like, sometimes pitchers right here, they'll go fastball for a strike and give it up. Now, continue to expand, see how far he will chase before you try to make an adjustment. Maybe that pitch there is just to set up the breaking ball away. Yes, he threw a fastball, but he was not trying to throw that for a strike right there.
Well, you change up the eye view.
Exactly.
3 straight sliders and a fastball. What does DeYoung have here? Goldschmidt at second. And it really seems, I mean, you look back through that arsenal and a lot of contact, some miss with that fastball tonight, but you can tell he's leaning on that slider right now. And that's the field pitch.
Yeah, and when you get swings like those first 2 swings by Yepez, I mean, it seems like you should stick with it a little bit. But it continues to go back to that heater. Trying to play reverse psychology with him right here. Say, hey, you know what? I know my breaking ball was working perfectly fine, but let me play reverse psychology and try to catch him off guard with this heater. And sometimes, Mel and Hannah, it's like you just need to stick with what's working right there. You'll find yourself back in a hitter's count or an even count to where you don't have that advantage anymore.
He's only thrown 1 curveball, and that was to Pujols. It popped straight up. DeYoung with the point up. Perez mask off, makes the catch. And good enough to keep Goldschmidt planted. A big second out for DeYoung and the Pirates as Yepez returns.
And it was pretty clear right there that at bat that Yepez was not seeing that breaking ball from DeYoung. So DeYoung threw his fastballs, but he ultimately got back to that breaking ball that was successful for him early in that at bat and got the out.
We've not seen the changeup or the sinker from him. Again, mostly fastball, sliders, and the 1 curve. Nolan Gorman, 2 outs, runner in scoring position. Can the rookie do?
All right, if I'm going to make a call, I might as well use Nolan Gorman for my call right here.
Making the call.
Good at bat. He got a favorable call. He's a rookie getting favorable calls right now. It's a good sign for hits.
Gorman slams this one out to right center field. Sorinsky backs up. He's got it right at the tracks. Denied by feet, but DeYoung locks it down as we head to the stretch. Pirates trying to get back into this one. Gorman's family, though, they're loving every minute.
Roberto Clemente, he spent his entire career with the Pirates. He's an icon here in Pittsburgh. And yes, he was known for his talent on the field, but he spent majority of his life fighting to create opportunities for Latin American players and members in the community. And he was an icon for a lot of young Latin baseball players, including Yadier Molina. Yadier was from Puerto Rico, and he actually spent majority of his childhood with a poster of Roberto on his wall. So you'd imagine how special it was for him when he won the Roberto Clemente Award back in 2018 for his efforts in Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. Now, he is just one of the few guys on the Cardinals roster that have won this award. His teammates Albert Pujols and Adam Wainwright also won the award. And starting this season, all of the recipients wear the number 21 patch on their baseball cap. But what an incredible honor, you guys, right?
It's absolutely tremendous, Brooke. And one of the greatest moments you can have is to either don 42 or 21.
That's so true. Like, he did so much. I mean, just like Jackie Robinson, Roberto Clemente was exactly the same impact on the Latin community. And there's so many great Puerto Rican-born players.
Drive out to left field, heading back at the track. Oh, goodbye, baseball! Michael Chavis blasts his 4th of the year, and the Pirates break up the shutout. That 38 1/3 scoreless streak is snapped with a shot out to the deepest part of the park.
Oh, and this had to feel absolutely amazing for Chavis right here. Being able to take this pitch, drive it to one of the bigger left fields in the game. Probably not as deep as Baltimore, but still extremely deep. 107 miles an hour off the bat. That had to feel good.
Well, you mentioned it, CY, and that's actually, for lack of the stadium comp, I guess, now that Baltimore has pushed that left field wall back, is Pittsburgh. And some of the guys haven't played her yet, so they're like, we'll have to see it. Is this one shot up in the sky out to right for Sawinski? But you take another look at Michael Scott Chavis.
And finally, I mean, Wainwright's been able to flip that breaking ball in there over and over again to keep these Pittsburgh hitters off balance. But Chavis maybe goes ahead and sells out, says, you know what, let me sit on this breaking ball and get it out of here, because it's actually a good pitch to hit if you're just able to stay back on it.
Another drive out to left center here for Swarinski. Oh, and a sliding catch for Harrison Bader. That Statue of Liberty glove up in the air. He doesn't care that it doesn't jive with that St. Louis red. He makes a big out as he tucks into the corner against Sawinski.
And this is why Harrison Bader is one of the elite defensive outfielders. Gold Glove winner in 2021. Able to get a great jump on this ball. Understand the yard. This is a tough yard to play center field in. Understand, hey, I have extra room. There's a cutout right there to the 410 spot. I can make it to this ball and make a play.
I think he is on gold bottom cleats as well. I know you can't take the glove out there, but I think he's flashing them in the shoes.
You get gold glove, you get the right to wear some gold bottom cleats out there.
There they are, yeah, he's the base running king. He's got the gold cleats. They should make that an award, the gold cleats for baseball.
Golden
He's
Spikes.
got the Golden Spikes award.
Yeah.
They saw it and they liked it, Hannah.
Do you think that glove doesn't go with the Cardinals uniform? No, I kind of like it. I like the blue and the red.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the gold glove. As I said, it's a little bulky and inflexible.
His glove. His Statue of Liberty glove.
Oh, I'm just saying it's not their natural colorway. I do like the contrast. On the ground, Back to Gorman. Oh, and a throw off the line to first, but a toe kept on for Goldschmidt. The veteran anchors it, but a shot for Chavis puts the Pirates on the board. Presented by Q Health, the most accurate COVID-19 self-test trusted by Major League Baseball. And sponsored in part by SoFi Bank, borrow and invest all in one app. And by Oris, a 118-year-old independent Swiss watchmaker setting the new standard. Wainwright at 98 pitches, his season high is an even 100. So you could guess that his day may be done. And again, 38 1/3 scoreless against the Pirates. Before that finally snapped, Michael Chavis put Wainwright in his book. A solo blast out to left in the bottom of the 7th. Fourth reliever comes out for Pittsburgh, meanwhile, to start the 8th. He'll get the bottom of the order after Chase DeYoung, an inning and a third of much-needed shore-up relief. It'll be the righty, Tyler Beatty, the 28-year-old out of Worcester, Massachusetts.
Tyler Beatty, I'd like to wish him an early 29th birthday, which is coming up on Monday.
There you go.
Hopefully he can come out here and have some success with that four-seam fastball, 95, 96 miles an hour. Change-up, curveball.
Making some friends already. See why he was claimed just a week ago off of waivers from the Giants.
I like birthdays.
How do you not? Dylan Carlson, first pitch. Lines this one into right field and a leadoff hit for the Cardinals.
You didn't wish me an early birthday.
Did I not?
Now it's Sunday.
Oh!
Before Tyler Beatty. I can't believe Tyler Beatty got a happy birthday.
To be fair,
before
it's not in the game notes for you, Hannah.
That's
I will sing happy birthday to you, Hannah, but Carlson right here being aggressive on the heater. Find the hole, through the shift a little bit. Find the hole, taking that base hit. Seems like a lot of runners are on base with no outs for the Cardinals. Leadoff hitter's doing a great job tonight.
Well, Yadier Molina, and again, we talked about his connection to Roberto Clemente. His father actually was teammates during Winter League back in the day with Clemente, and you can only imagine the stories that Dad came back with about just how larger than life this fellow Puerto Rican was for him. And for Yadier, I mean, not only does he continue to carry this flag for players, but you look at everything that Clemente went through. We talked about this with Manny Minoso earlier in the season. That language barrier is just another added level to the fact that there was still a color barrier going on across the country, not just in the sport. And yet Clemente did it all.
Yeah, he did it all. I mean, you're dealing with the color barrier, then you're dealing with the language barrier, and being able to have the amount of success that Clemente had. Yes, he was an amazing person off the field, and everybody knows about that. But on the field, I mean, you're talking about a 12-time Gold Glover, a 2-time World Series champion, a 4-time NL batting title holder. And he's paved the way for so many great Puerto Rican players to come through the game. I mean, when you think off the top of your head, you think of guys like Carlos Beltran, Vaughn Rodriguez, Roberto Alomar, Jose Cruz, Yadier Molina. I mean, he literally paved the way for all of these guys to be able to come over and play this game. And I think all players in the game, no matter what color you are, you're forever grateful for Roberto Clemente.
Of course, he has the award named after him that, again, Molina has brought home. And no, you're right, see why Molina doesn't exist. He doesn't have a career. He doesn't have that huge nod looking ahead at where he's going without Clemente coming first.
And I think players never take that for granted. You never forget like those moments, and you have the opportunity to be, you know, on this exclusive list of players. And you're not talking about average guys. You're talking about great Hall of Fame caliber players, all from Puerto Rico. It's beautiful.
It's been fantastic to watch just that talent pool continue to mix in, and the scouting over there has only gotten bigger over the years. See what Molina can do as he sets this one out towards right. Sawinski at the chalk is there. Well, and Yadier Molina, again, special for a lot of those numbers, but also special that he, like Clemente, he stayed with the Cardinals, and you've got something special going on when you see how many have worn that Cardinal red for so long.
And this says so much about the caliber of player that you're talking about here, but to see two guys from the Cardinals, yes, it says a lot about the player, but it says just as much about the organization to be able to retain these guys and keep them together and show the importance of having a certain culture in your clubhouse, because you know, especially with Wainwright and Molina, these guys can be leaders for every young player that we bring over here. So although they're great on the field, they're just as important in that clubhouse at retaining the culture that we have in our clubhouse, locker room, dugout, and how we carry ourselves on the field.
Does it say even more that Pujols leaves and it's in his heart that he still wants to come back and end his career where it started?
It does, and you see that. With Pujols, it was a very visible difference of him in an Angels uniform to going to the Dodgers and having a lot of fun with the Dodgers, but something about him understanding his role here with the team. I was talking to AP Pujols before the game today, and he loves his role. He understands that, hey, I'm not going to be that everyday guy, but this team values me. This team respects what I've done in the game. And yes, I can come in here, contribute, and be one of the better hitters off of left-handed pitches, but just as much so, I can come and be a soundboard for these young players and continue to teach and develop these guys and keep this Cardinals culture rolling.
He was asked about that earlier this week. Asked about sort of, you know, how's it been coming back in a second stint and having to adjust to a different role. And first of all, he gave credit to the Dodgers hitting coaches for really helping him to figure out a routine that allows him to not play every day. But then also, yeah, he said, I don't have to be out there in the field playing defense or hitting to help this ball club.
Yeah.
And again, just, you don't always know when you're in a golden era for certain athletes. You don't get that heads up. Sometimes it's an untimely injury or an untimely exit from the game. Guys like, you know, Jake Peavy that we've even never seen come back. But when you get that special one, like Pujols, like Molina, who lets you know ahead of time, hey, this is the last year. This is that curtain call for me. You just get to soak it in that much more and realize where you're at right now, that rare air. Harrison Bader back to keep Brian Hayes. And they'll look at first, but they can't beat the wheel, so they'll take out the lead runner.
And I must say, like, Pujols is one of those guys, we didn't know where he would end up this season. You didn't know if he would be done. But the Cardinals showing that, hey, I know y'all didn't see a place for him, but we saw a perfect spot for him with our team. You're talking about a 10-time All-Star, 6-time Silver Slugger, 2001 Rookie of the Year. I mean, we're going way back to 2001. And his time in St. Louis was so amazing. That first decade he was in a Cardinals uniform, he was just an unbelievable player. So be able to come here and finish it off with the team that he started it with, it's like a fairy tale.
He was Rookie of the Year in 2001, and Adam Wainwright drafted in 2000. Do you know that our new friend Nolan Gorman was the first player drafted who was born in 2000? Oh gosh.
So Gorman born when Pujols is making a name for himself.
Yes, and when Wainwright was drafted. Yeah, first player born in the 2000s to be selected in the MLB draft.
On that note, I'm going to go take a nap.
We deserve it.
Hey, neither one of y'all are allowed to feel old in this booth right now.
Until Sunday on my birthday.
We'll let you forget now, CY. They're looking on. And just a big group of guys in that dugout, leading guys like Gorman, helping them find their way. Tommy Edman trying to move Bader. Cardinals playing with 2 outs here. Pirates doing everything they can. They're down by 4. And I love the Cardinals beat writer for The Athletic, Katie Wu, had the whole documentation of Pujols' journey back to the Cardinals this year, the conversations that went on internally. And you love the simplicity of the text that just says, hey, 5 wants back, and you know exactly what that means. Those Cardinals career rankings there.
Oh, it seems like every time Pujols plays a game, or Yachty plays a game, or Wainwright plays a game, there's just a new record being set.
Game of outlasting. Beatty comes home, driven into left field. Gamble backing up, and he's got it. So Pirates put this one out. We'll see what the bats can do when we come back. The bottom of the 8th, Castro leads things off.
With a quick update as we take you out to Cleveland. 1-0 Guardians with the lead. They're about to extend that lead in the bottom of the 6th. Jose Ramirez with a 3-run shot. Meanwhile, out in the Lone Star State, Rangers, Astros, no score until this happens. Top 4, Cole Calhoun with his 6th bomb of the season. A solo shot there off of Christian Javier. And out to Fenway Park, as they like to say. Terrible Boston accent, but you get my gist there. Yeah, Trevor Story. How about a couple of nights for this guy with a grand slam, 11 RBI in his last 2 days. Smell. People love this thing. Do you see who caught that, by the way?
I did not. Actually. So we're going to have to take a look at that one again here as Rodolfo Castro, the shortstop, facing the new pitcher on the mound for the Cardinals. Genesis Cabrera, his 16th appearance overall for the 25-year-old Dominican product. Wainwright done 1 run through 7 innings of 4 hit ball, just 3 strikeouts, 3 walks, 63 strikes on 98 pitches. Wainwright, again, that season high is 100. So you kind of saw that was the best exit ramp off of the highway for him.
Yeah, the number was what was his strikeout number? 3.5 or 4.5? Either way.
4.5, I think, those BetMGM odds.
I said under right there. He had a great game. But your boy came through 1 time right there.
Well, we talked about how it seems like every time that those guys play, they're setting a new record. I feel pretty confident. I don't want to jinx it yet, but if Adam Wainwright.
Ground ball, backhanded Arenado. Oh! This one almost got nasty. Goldschmidt has to lean out, trying to reel this one in. And a collision with Castro as he runs through. And an uncharacteristic play here again between some of the toughest corners in baseball.
And this is one of those scary plays where, honestly, you're just happy to see Goldie come out of here without an injury. I mean, this is a pretty routine ball for Arenado. And he throws the ball up the line. Goldie has his wrist out there. He still tries to make the tag. But when you see Goldie's, his glove arm right there with Castro running down the line, that arm could easily get caught in between somebody's legs while he's running. And you could have a very significant injury. So to see him come out of that okay, I think it's a win-win for you.
It's the 4th error of the year for Arenado. And you just mentioned it, Siwa. I mean, you're really happy in this situation that Goldschmidt doesn't have a cleat going up that forearm.
Yeah, things happen so fast, and Castro's flying up the line, trying to be safe, trying to put pressure on the defense.
Driven out towards left. Can it stay fair? No.
I was just going to say that if they can hang on and Adam Wainwright gets the win, that'll give him 189 to tie him with Clayton Kershaw for 4th most among active MLB pitchers.
Wow.
Every time they're out there, setting some new record.
It's a full body of work, isn't it?
And he's got a chance to pass with Kershaw hitting the IL. Getting a little interesting in the National League for a piece of history. Driven up the middle here by Gamble, drops in, base hit. E5 and a single. Pirates trying to get something cooking here against Cabrera in the 8th. Came out for a scoreless inning Thursday against the Mets. That was a 10-inning performance for the Cardinals that ultimately came up on the Mets side.
I feel like Pittsburgh feels like it's about time. Something goes our way. The Cardinals have been getting all these jam shots left and right. It's our turn to get a little luck on our side. Genesis Cabrera coming with 97 in on his hands, pulling his hands in. Gamble able to get jammed, take the base hit, and hopefully find a way to capitalize off that very rare error by Arenado.
Well, and I mean, you kind of set the stage here, CY, but Pittsburgh won 3 out of their last 5, including winning a game they got no hit, by the way, of all the weird oddities that we'll see this year. But then you also add the fact a 3-game series, and they're 3.5 back of St. Louis. And this isn't one of those steep rivalries, but that's still in your division.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's early in the season, and in the clubhouse, no matter if you're in last place right now, when you're in the clubhouse this early in the season, you're still going out there trying to win games. You're not even thinking about being a spoiler right now. You're thinking about going and taking over.
Ace into left field. Base hit. Stop sign up for the Pirates. Brian Hayes, his first hit of the night. He just needed to see a new arm. He loads the bases with a single.
And this is where you see that high exit velocity come into play. No, like I said before, he doesn't have any homers, but he is hitting the barrel very, very consistently, staying through that ball, hitting the low line drive. If that ball's in the gap, that's extra bases. He just hits it right to the left fielder. But the goal at the dish is trying to hit the ball as hard as possible, and he is doing that very consistently.
Brings out Cardinals pitching coach Mike Maddox. He'll draw in the rest of the infield with him here. First bases loaded situation for the Pirates that we have seen this evening. Of course, Castro was in scoring position in the 5th before he got caught trying to take third. He had runners at first and second in the first inning, but that was also with 2 outs before Van Meter ground out. Castro at third, Gamble at second, Hayes at first for Brian Reynolds. Single in the first, he's flied out and ground out since. Tying run at the plate for the Pirates. .346 for Reynolds when he's got the bags loaded. What can he do? Ground ball finds the gap. 1 run will score. Another stop sign held up here. RBI single, Brian Reynolds. And they've cut it 5-2. Bases staying juiced.
And we talked about it earlier with Brian Reynolds. He has a lot of power from the left side, but when he's hitting right-handed, he's very comfortable with bat-to-ball skills. And he's aggressive early in the count right here to try to keep the line moving. You have no outs. He just shoots this ball in the 6th hole. Base hit. Still keep all the ducks on the pond right here.
Yoshi Tsutsugo, 1 for his last 24. He walked in the first. He's flied out to both sides of the field. Gamble, Hayes, Reynolds aboard. Nobody out. Big hack at that up top fastball.
I know that pitch was a little out of zone, but I still like the aggressiveness. There's a fine line of trying to be too picky at the plate and sometimes just letting it eat and choosing your spots.
Cardinals are going to get some motions going now in their bullpen. Tsutsugo fouls this one to the left. So it's going to be Cabrera's for now to work through.
Cabrera coming right after Tsutsugo. 98, two fastballs right out the gate. Hoping that he can get those by him and force Tsutsugo to be late on them.
Tsutsugo, not much of a thought on that one.
And how big does that error to start the inning seem now?
Anytime, like you said, Hannah, anytime you give any offense an extra out to play with, it can a lot of times be a rally star. And nobody feels worse out there than whoever that player is who made the error to get things going. All you want is like, man, just find a way to get out of this inning with us to continue to have the lead, because that's all that's sitting on Arenado's conscience right now. It's like, let's get a double play ball. We can give up one more run, but let's get a double play ball and try to control this inning as much as possible.
And we're seeing the ramifications of that here, but it's also a testament to, you know, what you don't see when they make those plays.
Tsutsugo back to first. Goldschmidt will send it to second. Nothing can be done after that. Another run comes home for the Pirates. So Tsutsugo might not be the best situation you wanted. I think everybody a dream of that grand slam, but you still scratch another run. You still put them a little bit closer.
Absolutely, and that's a great at-bat right there. Yeah, he's been struggling this year a little bit, but it's those type of at-bats that get you back on track. You still able to put something together and you don't strike out. You put the ball in play. It's not a no play ball. You bring in a run, that's still an RBI. But you take it.
Diego Castillo will now pinch hit in the spot of Josh Van Meter. And Castillo, a guy that they're pretty high up on. He said, look, you can play him anywhere. And when you're about to see another crunch across the league, having a guy like that, it's almost like instead of a 3-man bench, you got a 4. So what can he do at the plate? First at bat here in the 8th, runners on the corners. And he's the go-ahead run. This is going to bring Yadier out to have a word with Cabrera.
Right here, you're just calming them down. Yadier saying, hey, you know me and Wainwright started this game today, so we can't give up this lead. You know that, right? We need to execute our pitches, get out of this inning. Maybe possibly a little scouting report for Castillo, or just buying some time.
All right, and that's going to do it for Inices Cabrera. He exits, runners on the corners for Diego Castillo. To the bullpen. We'll be back after this. Baseball on Apple TV Plus, presented by Q Health. Melanie Newman alongside Chris Young, Hannah Kaiser, and Brooke Fletcher live from PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Bring your friends to the one spot with all your favorite free MLB games. Play the hits with Beat the Streak, Quick Pick, and more. Visit MLB.com/play. Download MLB Play today. So Diego Castillo, he's coming up into a pinch hit situation, and the Cardinals opt to go back to their bullpen. After it had not been the sharpest evening for Inices Cabrera, they'll call on Giovanni Gallegos. And he has been the flame extinguisher for the Cardinals.
And Marmol going to Gallegos, hoping that, I hope he has a short-term memory. He gave up the big walk-off homer to Pete Alonso yesterday, and you're hoping that we can let that go. I'm still putting you in probably the highest leverage situation of the game tonight, and trusting that you can come through and get these 2 big outs for us right now.
So face that number 20 Pittsburgh prospect here. Runners on the corners. Go-ahead run is Castillo. Tied for 8th in the National League. He's got 7 saves on the season, but again, both blown saves and losses against the Mets. And a big rip there for Castillo. You've got Brian Hayes at 3rd, Yoshi Tsutsugo at 1st.
And Gallegos, I mean, you're going to see that slider quite a bit. Oddly enough, his slider and four-seamer, he uses them exactly the same amount, 45.5% of the time. He mixes his and change up every now and then, but he's a slider and four-seam guy majority of the time.
Socked up in the air. And a souvenir for a fan. Pirates, after they had been held silent by Adam Wainwright, 3 runs in the last 2 innings.
And right here, Castillo, is you understand that you're down by 2 runs, but hey, we don't have to go out here and take the lead right here. We don't even have to drive both of these guys in. But when you have the runner on third base, less than 2 outs, you really need to find a way to put the ball in play to try to make something happen here. It's not always easy to do against Gallegos, but he's trying to find a way.
Oh, gets that call right at the top. There is not much Castillo can do with that. A strikeout as Gallegos freezes him.
Gallegos is able to sneak in that old high-hanging heater that just stays up in the zone and just freezes Castillo. I'm sure when he sees this on video, he's going to be like, man, I wish I could get that one back. He thinks it's a little up, but with 2 strikes, that ball is actually fence high and probably a good pitch to hit.
Gallegos in the 96th percentile for whiff rate, and putting it on display against Castillo. Michael Chavis, a home run in the 7th. First pitch hunting again. We've seen a lot of aggression tonight from the Pirates.
Yeah, Chavis seeing that breaking ball too. He just took Wainwright's breaking ball deep last time. Right here, he understands that Gallegos throws his slider a lot, so he goes up there and sits on it again. And you'll see pitchers do that a lot of times. If you hit a home run off a certain pitch, you'll be surprised at how many times you get that same type of pitch for your first pitch that next at bat, and then they'll make the change and make the change to the heater.
I definitely would have never thought with that mindset, so that's intriguing.
Yeah, Mel, it's always a mind game. You see he goes to the heater right there. A lot of times hitters and pitchers play mind tricks on themselves, and they say, oh, he hit a home run on the breaking ball. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to get ahead with that breaking ball so I can get to the fastball later in the count, because I don't want to have to go to that breaking ball later in the count because he's obviously feeling good on that pitch.
Gallegos trying to bail Cabrera out of the 8th. Pittsburgh putting up a fight.
And Chavis being able to hit that home run off of Wainwright, that is really good for him. He's been known over the past few years to be a guy who really mashes against left-handed pitchers as he takes this pitch just off the plate, this fastball just off the plate. He's been known to mash left-handed pitchers, but for righties, his average is a lot lower. This year hitting 236 off of righties. So for him to be able to get a big hit off an elite righty like Wainwright can help build that confidence and put him in a good place against Gallegos.
Got that smirk and slow exhale on that last call.
You see they showed the breaking ball early, then got back to the fastball. And a lot of times you get back to the fastball because the last time you saw him up on a breaking ball, this is what he did with it. You see 107 miles an hour off the bat in one of the bigger left fields in the game. That's a big-time poke for Chavis.
That's StatCast, powered by Google Cloud, breaking down that long drive. Michael Chavis hasn't seen a lot of pitches tonight. He had ripped a single the first pitch he saw, 3-pitch strikeout, a 2nd-pitch home run. This is his longest at-bat of the evening.
Let's see if that's a good thing.
Gallegos, and he ties up Chavis. Back-to-back strikeouts. Giovanni Gallegos puts away the Pirates, but they make it interesting with 2. They're within 2.
Moving in, yeah. This time I came with friends, yeah. With my team we aim to win, yeah. Right now the show begins.
Time to go. It's time to go right now. Get ready.
Well, it's a big start to the 9th inning as Albert Pujols digs in against the new pitcher, the righty Chris Stratton. Tyler Beede has done an inning of scoreless relief. And the Pirates, after you felt this might have gotten away from them, that 4-run 6th inning from the Cardinals, they fight back another 2 runs in the 8th. And we've got ourselves a ball game here. Diego Castillo, again, who came on to pinch hit for Josh Van Meter. He'll stay in his spot at second base. As Stratton comes home, a 1st-pitch strike. He's following up a scoreless 8th inning performance back on Sunday, his 2nd win of the season in 16 appearances.
And Stratton here in his 7th MLB season, his 4th with Pittsburgh.
Pujols socks this one into the stands.
You saw that 1st-pitch breaking ball, the curve ball. He also features a fastball, slider, and a changeup. 92, not a big velo guy. 90, 92-mile-an-hour heater.
Pujols within 3 bases of tying Willie Mays all time.
Oh.
It's just ridiculous to watch history play out in front of you here.
It is, and I feel like the pitchers know, hey, man, I'm facing a Hall of Famer right now. What did you do against Albert Pujols? And everybody's going to be able to have their stories down the road on how they pitched them, and they'll be able to remember the pitch sequences and if Albert took them deep, if they struck them out.
Pokes this one, but it'll go foul.
I mean, I remember when I was facing Greg Maddux, when I was facing Randy Johnson, it didn't matter if they were in their prime of their career or if it was later in their career, it still felt the same when you were competing against these guys because you understand the accomplishments that they've had over their career. and their impact on the game.
For Stratton here, trying to keep the luck going. He's retired 11 of his first 15 batters faced. But again, not much of a bigger name you could come out to start the 9th with.
We talked about all the exciting things Albert Pujols does. Got to see him steal a base earlier this week against the Mets. And you know what? People love when Albert Pujols steals a base. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. How could he ever do that? He does not get caught stealing a lot. Like, he doesn't steal a lot, but he gets caught stealing almost not at all. He knows when to pick them.
Yeah, he knows exactly when to pick his spots, and he knows that nobody's paying attention to him at first base. So he understands that at this time in his life, he needs to get a running start. So every time you see him get a stolen base, he's taking off well before the pitcher lifting his leg. And sometimes you just have to pull your cloak up. If you pull your cloak up, can't anybody see you out there when you're running?
117 career steals for this year's oldest player in baseball.
And he's got 14 since 2015, and in that time he's only been caught stealing once. It's a long time to not be caught stealing.
That's a smart base runner.
It's a smart base runner. It's almost like he knows what he's doing out there. I'm sorry, caught once earlier this year.
Well, it can't all be perfect.
I know he is fighting for dear life on these breaking balls right now. Some of the oddest foul balls from AP right here.
So Stratton, his 9th pitch to start the inning. And we'll see 10. Taken from a trade with the Angels back in 2019. And that 5.40 ERA, trying to bring that down just a little bit. As those first 5 outings of the year, and we talked about this earlier, pitchers just trying to get in that groove. The same thing as hitters. We've seen offense down to start the year, but all the numbers starting to go back to the mean. Pujols sends this one back, picked by Hayes. And to first. But meanwhile, Pujols, we've talked about him being a generational guy. Take a listen to his reception on his return to St. Louis.
Designated hitter, Albert Pujols.
I know you guys have watched me cry in certain baseball moments this year, but if that doesn't give you chills to see a whole stadium give an ovation before somebody's done anything at all that day, that should tell you the magnitude of where we're at this year.
Yeah, it just shows like how important players are and games are, and the impact that a single player can leave on an entire fan base. I mean, Cardinals fans are some of the best in the game, and they understand the history of the game, and they remember a lot of those guys grew up watching Albert Pujols. A lot of the older fans, you know, he was their favorite guy. He was the one who they remember having all these big hits to bring them their World Series championships, and they show their appreciation. So I'm sure Albert loved to get that ovation from his fans. It makes you feel appreciated, and it really makes you enjoy the game. Like, he looks like he's having fun again. And I didn't see that a lot of times and with the Angels when I was over there with them.
He had a decade away from St. Louis and just as warm of a return. Goldschmidt evens up his count here. That 13-game streak, by the way, ties Phillies' Gene Segura for that longest streak in the National League.
Talk about Pujols having fun. He's having fun, but he's still taking it very seriously. When he passed through New York, people were asking him, oh, you know, do you think about how it's maybe your last time in each city? And he said, maybe when I get on the plane to leave, when I'm here, I'm thinking about the game I have to play.
Consummate professional. Oof. Goldschmidt gets a piece of Perez, it sounds like, on that one.
And I think the reason that is, Hannah, is that although you understand you're a legend, he knows when he lays in bed at night that he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. But at the same time, the only way that you're able to be that good as a player is to grind it out every single day and never take a day off, and understand that, hey, I'm still out here representing myself and representing my team. And I would love to go out the same way that I came in, and I'm still going to go out there and compete. and try to be as successful as possible. Although I'm not as athletic as I used to be, or my bat speed is not the same as it used to be, I'm still a smart player, and I still understand how to go out there and get hits. So I think he has to keep that mindset. He came in with that mindset. You got to continue to ride it out.
That's such a great point. Like, I hadn't thought about that. Sometimes I think about what separates the truly great athletes from the rest of us. And you're right, it's
back up the middle here for Goldschmidt, ranging over Castro to first. And Chavis holds on.
It's partially that you're right. He knows he's a Hall of Famer already, and he still wants more. He still wants to contribute more. He still wanted to come back to St. Louis and play in a not everyday role and sort of, you know, ride the bench and pinch hit and do whatever it takes to contribute, even though he could be a Hall of Famer sitting at home watching TV, playing golf, whatever it is.
Right.
He and Yadier Molina will be eligible for the class of 2028. Two outs for Chris Stratton facing Arenado. A drive into shallow center field brings in Reynolds. He's there. 1, 2, 3 goes Stratton. Last call Pirates when we come back. Repeat history very quickly here. Take a look at yesterday. 10th inning versus the Mets. Polar Pete, a 2-run walk-off home run against Giovanni Gallegos. Mets win it 7-6. First pitch he saw traveled 447 feet into left field. He got a water bottle party at home plate, but they call on Gallegos again. You gotta wipe the slate. Ollie Marmol showing all the utmost confidence in a guy who is essentially the closer. Corey Dickerson replaces Juan Yepes in left field for the 9th. Gallegos came on back-to-back strikeouts to put an end to the 8th. 2 runs came home for the Pirates to bring it within 2. Starts things off with Jack Sawinski.
And this is what we were talking about earlier. You have to have short-term memory loss. I mean, right here, you have to get a 5-out save after coming off of a walk-off yesterday to Pete Alonso. But you understand, like, the closing position is so important to a team's morale. And when you're up by a couple runs going into the 9th inning, or up by a run going into the 9th inning,
look for Arenado. This one a little bit out of reach.
When you're up late in the game, you have to find a way to put those wins away. Because you're gonna win the blowouts. You're gonna get blown out sometime, but those close ones, you have to find a way to win if you want to find yourself in the playoff hunt late in the season.
Cardinals asking Gallegos to get 5 outs here. He hasn't gotten a 5-out outing since last July.
Sawinski, Perez, Castro, the bottom of the order. Shelton has been waiting for them to produce. Can they pull it off? And he chases. Gallegos goes to the breaking ball, and that's 3 straight strikeouts.
And a lot of breaking balls up in the zone that continue to be effective for Gallegos, and he's able to throw this slider, and it kind of just stays up. It's not really breaking so much, but it's still finding a way to be effective. I mean, that ball is still over the heart of the plate. It's a little up in the zone, and you see Sawinski there still looking like, how did I miss that pitch? It was such a good pitch to hit.
All sliding strikeouts. Diego Castillo, Michael Chavis, and Sawinski. Michael Perez. Got a little Ric Flair woo creeping out of the woodwork from the fans down below. They have been holding on for this one.
Very lenient strike zone all night long. by Ryan Willis. I think what frustrates players from time to time is, hey, we've been getting that high call all night long. Those breaking balls up in the zone, a little bit above the strike zone, are getting called strikes. And now you're getting these balls below the zone that are called strike as well. And a lot of that is to Molina behind the plate, working the umpire all day long. And you're doing that so that late in the game right here, you can get certain calls.
And we talked to a player earlier this week, but I thought it was interesting because he said, look, I don't care if it's a shallow strike zone or if they're not giving us the stuff at the bottom, or maybe it's wide or it's narrow, but as long as what that zone is stays the same,
right,
that's what we're wanting.
We do want that, but when you're in the dugout right there, if you're getting on Willis a little bit, you're saying, hey, you can't get the high ones and the low ones. The strike zone can't be that tall. Especially in these close games, those calls make a difference. Those little shifts and counts from time to time. You see he's sitting there, visibly frustrated, Perez is, and he's thinking about that close strike call that went the pitcher's way, and it puts you in a position to where, yes, he just doesn't, he doesn't hit the pitch that he should hit right there, but you put yourself in the hole when you necessarily shouldn't be.
Down to their final out. Pirates with a late inning rally, but is it enough? They're running out of time. Rodolfo Castro, he's reached on a single and an error this evening. He got it all started in the 8th inning for the Pirates. 4 straight strikeouts for Gallegos, and he starts out with another whiff here. And after the Pirates had done so good tonight, not coming up empty when they go after what St. Louis brings to the plate.
Yeah, they put themselves in a position here tonight, Mel, to win a ball game. They had a big inning. They had the bases loaded. They put themselves in a position to where we were one big hit away, and the game's still not over right now. But if you continue to put yourself in those type of situations and take advantage of an error like Arenado made tonight and be able to put some runs on the board, you'll find yourself in better positions moving forward to win more ball games.
Well, and that's why, even despite last night, you see Gallegos come back out again. You get back on the horse. You go after it one more time. You throw Corey Dickerson in left field. You got 6 Gold Glovers out there on defense just to lock it down.
And bringing in Gallegos shows a lot about Marmol, and it shows a lot about the team culture and why they don't panic. We were talking to Marmol before the game, and this team just does not panic. Yeah, you lose some close games. That doesn't mean we change how we do things. We continue to keep the line moving, trusting the process, and keeping our guys in the spots that we believe in them in.
How much pressure is this for Castro right now at the plate? Being such a young kid, being that guy filling in when you lose your everyday shortstop, and you're the final out technically.
Yeah, nobody ever wants, like you just said it, nobody ever wants to be that final out. So yeah, you're in an 0-2 count, but you're trying to grind away to make something happen right here. Nobody likes losing. Nobody. I don't care if you're supposed to lose. Nobody likes it.
Well, you're never supposed to lose. That's how you make it to the big leagues.
Yeah, but some teams know they're going to lose a little more than other teams.
Top of the zone, frozen again. 5 straight strikeouts for Giovanni Gallegos, and he shuts the door on game 1. The Cardinals have won 21 of the last 25 games here at PNC. Nolan Gorman gets to experience a team win on his debut day, and he'll watch his best buddy make his debut tomorrow as they'll start game 2 right here against the Pirates. But again, what a night that it's been. You see Pittsburgh not going down without a fight. You see those moments of improvement as they continue to climb toward being that competitive team. They are not the Pirates rolling over anymore, trying to find that rebuild.
What another masterpiece by Wainwright tonight. I feel like that has to be the story. Wainwright coming out the gate a little slow, throwing 20-plus pitches in the first inning, but finding his way, expanding the strike zone, and just showing the art of pitching at its true core right there.
It's really remarkable to watch him work at this stage in his career and see how effective he can be. You mentioned, right, to see him go from that first inning where it looked like, oh, he can't blow one by them, and so they're working these long at-bats, and then to just see what he can do with that same stuff and when he settles in.
And again, you just continue to watch history in the making as Wainwright and Molina continue to rack up wins as a battery. And they have been blowing by everybody, closing in on being one of the best, albeit a little tough this year. They're double digits shy, and as Molina has already said, this is his last season. You just wonder how much time you've got left. But for Marmol, his club, again, trying to get back on the winning path, chasing down the Brewers. They were just 4 games back coming into tonight. Milwaukee, like St. Louis, riding some pretty strong pitching. This is going to be an interesting one down the stretch for sure.
Yeah, and St. Louis is going to be one of those teams, Mel. They're going to continue to stay in the hunt. They're going to continue to be consistent throughout the year. You have a great pitching staff. You're going to have Flaherty coming back at some point to continue to add to that pitching staff. I'm curious to see, do they go with the 6-man rotation? Do they find a way to go to a 5-man rotation? But they're going to continue to play good defense, put the bat on the ball. You keep Goldie and Arenado hot like they are, they're going to be just fine.
Let's take a look at what Wainwright was able to put together tonight. I mean, just again, another stellar masterpiece for him.
And what he did today, we were talking about it earlier, he continued to stay on the corners and induce soft contact by these Pirates lineup. And I don't think it matters who he was facing today. If you're able to put the ball right there over and over again, it doesn't matter who you're facing because you're going to continue to get soft contact. And it's not about the velocity with Wainwright. It's about keeping you off balance, having you thinking curveball, I'll sneak the fastball in there, and vice versa. And he was able to do that all night tonight.
Well, and you get all of those connections. I mean, certainly we got to talk to Miles Michaelis earlier. He spent a blip about 2 weeks of the offseason technically belonging to the Pirates organization before he was flipped in another trade. Oliver Marmol, originally selected by the Pirates back in 2004, but doesn't sign, and serendipitously inks his history to come up through the Cardinal system. Yadier Molina debuted here in Pittsburgh. I mean, you have to love the way that this has all come together, but this is going to be an interesting series.
I agree. They're going to continue to push, and the Pirates are coming in. You know, we need to come out here and try to find a way to win the series. And the Cardinals, I mean, they're setting high expectations. You know, they're coming in trying to sweep the series, knowing they need to take advantage of under 500 teams. We need to go out there and beat those teams. So I'm excited to see the matchup tomorrow.
Yeah, we asked Oli Marmol before the game, is it hard to win when you're supposed to, when you're facing these difficult teams? He said, no, I never think about it that way. We know this Pirates team is going to come out and play hard, and they did, but the Cardinals walk away with the win.
I love it. It's the pressure, and they are living up to the expectations. Keep it locked here on Apple TV+. Rangers and Astros currently battling in the Lone Star State. Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV+ returns next week with another doubleheader. At 7 Eastern, AL East foes square off at Fenway. Red Sox hosting the Orioles at 9:30. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and the Blue Jays take on Mike Trout and the Angels. For Chris Young, Hannah Kaiser, Brooke Fletcher, I'm Melanie Newman. Stay tuned for post-game coverage from the studio presented by SoFi.